Yo, 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 yo! Welcome to Hellstorm Wargaming. I hope you're all doing well. Thanks so much for tuning in. Welcome to this live stream. Apologies, it's not a battle report stream. It is Friday, and I do try to stream a battle report stream every Friday. However, it's really hot, as you might have noticed. It's really hot in the UK again, and we still don't have aircon. We haven't managed to get aircon within the last heat wave and this one, which is only about 2 weeks ago. And I'll just say that, like, when I was streaming with Elliot and Big C, when Armageddon came out, it wasn't as hot as this, and my cameras, with all of like the studio lights and stuff like that, my cameras were like clocking out. They were like, they'd had enough after like an hour or so. So basically this time I apologize. I just said I'm not gonna bother. I'm also doing like a technical changeover with like the new PTZ controller. I've not quite finished that, so I don't want to like faff about. So yeah, so I didn't want to do that today. I just wanted to like watch. We've got like a lot to talk about, to be honest. There's quite a few things that are happening. We've got the Eddie and Adam big Q&A, which we're going to look at in a momentarily. We've got a Tacoma Open FAQ. We've got my tournaments happening this weekend, and then we've got Miniature Masters, which you're going to be able to watch along with. So there's actually quite a lot to talk about today. So maybe if we skip a battle report, I think we'll be all right, you know. So let me know who you are, where you're watching from. Let me know what's going on with you guys. I appreciate you all tuning in nice and early. Evening, Matt. How are we? Is this an eBay quest add to? No, it's nothing to do with eBay quest, I'm afraid. That's nothing to do with me. Good evening, sir. Are you well? Play beside. How you doing, bud? Get face. Good evening. No sound. Hello? 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 What do you mean no sound? Hello? Am I silent? I shouldn't be. Someone say something. Someone say hello. I don't think I'm silent. I'm not silent. Matt, it's just you, bro. Bro, it's just you, I'm afraid. God. Oh, panic attack. So let me tell my Discord that I've just gone live, and then we're going to watch the Eddie and Adam Q&A. I have it open. Like, I wasn't planning on watching this because I feel like it's about the reveals the other day, and I don't really know what they're planning on like saying, to be honest. Like, what are they planning on saying? Like, oh, well, there's some new stuff coming out and there'll be more new stuff soon, you know? Is that what we're doing? I don't know. We'll have a quick nosy. And then there's actually a Tacoma Open FAQ, which I'd like to look at and talk about the ramifications of it. So yeah. Let me just quickly tell everybody I'm live. Live now, gamers. 2 big FAQs and Miniature Masters. I'm trying a new thing where I'm actually hiding that I'm tagging everyone live. I don't know if you noticed. I'm like blanked it out. Let me see if I can copy that over. Yes, boy, yes. And then I can go like this. Bam. Oh, I didn't mean to do that. Oh, shit. I've done it wrong. 1 sec. I pressed enter by accident. Do that. Bosh. Libosh. There we go. Let's try that. Look, new scam. New scam unlocked. They just said, well, don't give me spoilers. I'm about to watch it, Kazarian. What are you telling me? I've got it open in front of you. Why are you watching it and not me? What are we doing here? So we'll have a look. We'll have a look what they've got to say anyway. So yeah, so there's this FAQ. There's this FAQ. There's my FAQ. There's my new mission pack. Oh, bro, I'm so chuffed with this. I don't know if you've seen. I've made my own mission pack. Added it to the website. Click event and tournaments. Bruh, there it is. Wait for it, chat. Spoilers. Oof. Oh, look at it. Isn't it glorious? Look, how could you get it wrong? How could you get it wrong? Except I don't have a piece for this one. Look at what I've been doing. Look what I've been doing, chat. Look at this. We've been doing some web. I've actually been doing some websiting. I've been doing some coding. Oh, it's nice to go back to my old roots and do a little bit of coding. But look at it. Oh, I'm really chuffed with it. We made a little table. We made a little thing. I'm actually using this website that I've owned for like 8 years and not just using it as a web shop. I'm actually using it for like information. It's very nice. Because then people are like, oh, how do I set up the terrain? I can be like, go to the website. Hellstormwargaming.co/GT-RTT-rules pack. I don't know if I like this. I might just change it to rules pack. Bang it into the old GeoCities website builder. What's that? But anyway, it's good. And I've also made it so if you zoom in, it doesn't reduce the quality of the images. So you can actually like zoom in and see what it is. What's this again? Can't quite tell. Oh yes, now I can. Now I can. What's this one? Hell yeah, I can see that. Why's my music stopped? Oh, I'll put my headphones in. I'm an idiot. Who said we learned nothing from MySpace? Truly, MySpace, Bebo, Pixo. Do you remember Pixo? Oh, what a time. What a time to be alive. So yeah, so we got the terrain keys. This is what everyone's going to be playing on Sunday. The footprints are not the official ones, but they're going to be, like, as close as possible. They're like one-to-ones, but they're just black and printed. My thing hasn't sorted yet. So, without further ado, we'll go over that afterwards when we talk about the FAQ. And now the sound's just stopped. I'll pause the music. I'm an idiot, bro. Let's have a look what they've got to say. Eddie and Adams, FAQ. I have paused it, so we're going to watch from the beginning. All right? So I'm behind the main stream. I know. But guess what? I can fast forward it when it's cringe.
Big summer preview Q&A session.
Quanda. We asked you to send in questions, and boy, did you respond. We got loads in our inbox, and it was good fun to read through them all.
Yeah, I've got no drink in here.
All on these little cards. There's some common themes, so we'll start right at the beginning, I guess. And there's a bunch of questions.
Hype source time.
And the Orc Codex. Question number 1. Are new codexes cheaper now they are softcover?
That's a good question, and they are cheaper now that they're softcover. They are about a third
Interested.
cheaper. Depends on currency, but they are a bit less than buying
a third cheaper, so about £10, £12 cheaper.
For you, can you show a size comparison between the new style codex and the old ones, please?
I'm so glad you asked, and I came prepared. I actually rummaged through the archive and bought one of every Orc Codex we've ever done. This is the new one. It comes in a slipcase, and it's bijou. It rolls in at like 178 pages, and it's...
So they're about 35 now, right?
First ever Orc Codex, which came out in 2nd edition, or the 3rd edition Codex, and so on. So thicker, but shorter.
Yeah, and I think that is the thickest Orc Codex.
Can I turn them up? Yeah. How much is a Codex right now? Codex. I'm so out of touch. How much could it cost? $10? 21, 38 pounds. Fuck, dude. What the fuck? No wonder Games Workshop stopped sending them. Fuck me. 38 quid for a Codex. Are you joking? Lads, little hack for you. Just run one tournament. Run one tournament. Alright, that's my hack. But all win one tournament. That's my hack for you. Fuck, 38 quid. That's crazy. So 38 times 0.7. I like how it's corrected to 5. No, I just put 7. 0. £28.50. So they're going to be 30 quid. They're back to being £30, let's be honest. Fuck, 38 quid for one Codex. That's wild, dude. So they'll probably be about what, 24 quid from your local retailer, like the Outpost. I suppose you put Outpost in chat. That's pretty good, but oof.
You've had, isn't it?
In terms of
£38 for a Codex that often added only 3 new detachments, 1 new data sheet versus the free index at the start of the edition. Yeah, compared to the start of the edition, crazy. £38 for a Codex like Grey Knights, £21.50 for a supplement like Blood Angels and Dark Angels. I know which I'd pick. Yeah, but you got to buy the Spacemarine Codex first, and that's probably more expensive because they know everyone. I know the Spacemarine Codex is still £38. I just in my head, I'm just like a Codex is 30 quid. I can't believe they're £38. The Codex will lost the app that you have to pay a subscription for. You don't have to pay a subscription to use your Codex in the app. That is misinformation. You do only get to build one list, but it is technically free. Gonna be the soft cover is a bit of inflation busting. Yeah, I think that's the point, right? I think they're trying to This is this is not so much enshittification that's normally the thing. It's like this is to try and bring the price down, make it soft cover. It's cheaper for them, which means they can pass those savings on to you. And it's kind of like a little bit of a reset on the product as well, which is quite interesting. So I'm not exactly against a soft cover. I don't really use the codex, to be honest. I use my phone. I know people don't like using their phones all the time. Obviously, in an ideal world, all the codexes would be free. All the rules would be free. We've done this to death. We don't need to go over it again. But I think, yeah, it's kind of like they made them slightly smaller. It doesn't look like there's any less content. It just looks like there's smaller text, you know. So I'm not mad about it.
Page count,
Sheer page number is by a fair margin the biggest, and I would argue is the most packed with orc lore and rules that we've really ever had.
Nice.
I love it. There we go. My question for you.
I love that, like, this is always like a one take Andy. It's not, there's no cut or anything. We've got him like fucking faffing about in the box. It's just one take, go. You know, sit in them chairs, go for it. Them chairs that will steal that idea from Hellstorm Wargaming with a little table in between, just like Hellstorm Wargaming. But nonetheless, one take Andy.
In the summer preview, you showed off Codex Orks and its new format with more lore and more lore sections for all the units. Will this new format be for all upcoming 11th edition codexes to the same extent?
Yeah, so it's a really good question.
It's not. It's so obvious. This is going to be my problem. I think a lot of these questions are going to be super obvious. Like the sides of a codex comparison, fairly interesting. Will all the other codexes be the same as this one? Yes, of course they fucking will.
So the Orc Codex effectively lays out the shape of what codexes will look like going forwards. Future codexes obviously don't have the same kinds of sections, but they have a similar sort of theme, that they have the same deep dive into the lore and they explore the faction in a cool new way. The Spacemarine Codex, for example, which is hot on the heels of the Orc one soon after, explores the way that the Spacemarine chapter works from the perspective
Leak! They said the Space Marines could. Okay, I'm being cynical now.
of a Space Marine fortress monastery.
I'm being
So it
cynical.
goes through the little different bits of the chapter keep and the librarium and the chaplaincy and stuff like that, and you can kind of explore the lore of the Space Marine chapter through that. And other codexes will do similar things with their faction.
Nice.
It's pretty cool. I've got a question about hardcovers.
Like no cut at all. It's just there it is.
Will this format be available for 11th edition codexes? Maybe a collector's edition, could be a hardcover.
Well, it's almost like I picked that one on purpose because I had seen the collector's edition for Codex Orcs. It looks exactly like this. Again, it's got a little slipcasey thing, and it is hardbound. It's got that lovely sort of green foil.
It's still smaller. It's still the same size. Interesting.
It's got a sort of a fold-out thing that sort of clasps shut. Otherwise, it's the same codex, but it is beautifully presented in hardback, and that's the collector's edition. So if you do want hardback codexes in particular, they'll be available.
Collector's edition codex confirmed.
There we go. And now I've got to get this back on. Done. Right, perfect.
Is this what this entire video is about? Just like, hey guys, buy products.
So, which armies, moving on to Exodites, will be able to field the new Exodite squads in games of
Eldari,
Warhammer?
I imagine.
Loads of questions on this topic.
Yeah, so lots of people are very excited about Exodites, obviously. Exodites fit into the Eldari force. So they are a separate sort of subculture of Eldar, separate from the Harlequins and Corsairs.
I don't know if this is this. I don't know if this is for me. This video. Chat, do a quick leak. Has anyone watched further than where I am now? Is this video for me? What, the Eldar riding dinosaurs are for the Eldar army? Fucking hell. Jesus Christ. Also, breaking news, water is wet. It's a legitimate... What do you mean it's a legitimate question? Obviously, they're going to be an Eldari unit. What else? What are they going to put me fucking Space Wolves, are they?
And the Craft Worlds, but they do get on very well with the Craft Worlds. The Craft Worlds ride to the
I can fast forward the cringe, yeah, but like because they haven't timestamped it or cut it at all, I don't know where to skip to.
When they get invaded by orcs and
Yeah, it's
Imperials
quite
and stuff.
heavy in the lore for some of them, isn't
They
it?
don't really get on with the drukhari at all. You can't put them in a drukhari army. So it's just Craft World Eldar.
Great.
My question, which is rather important to me, will we get separate transfer sheets for Exodites? Alternatively, will Eldari transfer sheets change to include Exodite runes?
So I, as a fellow decal enthusiast, I could have literally asked this question myself. I rummaged through the Exodite box, and in it you will find Kill Team Exodite Dragon Master's transfer sheet, which contains 1, 2, 3, 4, six different clans of Exodites decals.
That's cool.
Yeah. So
Okay,
you can,
cool.
And they've got like
Fine.
interesting names like the Clan of the Ghost Star. A Ghost Star. I should have put my glasses on. Maybe Ghost Stag. That's terrible. Yeah, six
There's a
different
ghost
clans.
one.
Yeah.
There's a ghost one.
Not a recut. No, Adam, it says this. No, nothing. Crazy. Absolutely crazy. It's so funny. It's so funny. If I was doing this and someone did that, I'd be like, guy, where are you going to do that again? Very good. Lock in. Elliot, lock in. Do it again. Say it properly this time. And then he'd say it wrong on purpose. But then that'd be funny.
And they're really nice looking, and they fit with that whole Eldar sort of mythos.
I didn't know there was a transfer ship.
Yeah,
That's cool.
do you want to see?
Yeah, I do want to see. Let's steal this. Put that away for later.
Oh no, it's
It's
gone.
mine now. Is the large Armageddon terrain set available unpainted? Only small unpainted and large painted were mentioned in the preview stream.
So, if you want the same amount of terrain that comes in the ready painted Battlefield Armageddon set, then you would buy 2 of the Combat Patrol terrain set. The reason that it's got half the amount of terrain is because it's made really on the assumption that you might buy the Warhammer 40,000 starter set, which contains the same amount of terrain again. So buy the starter set and buy the Combat Patrol terrain set, and you've got a 2,000 point game's worth of terrain, or just buy 2 of the same starter set, same terrain set.
Cool. So there's loads of ways of getting the terrain.
Yeah, basically, you just pick the one that suits your needs. That was easy, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Good, right. Exodites again. Will there be more?
Also, didn't really answer the question. Do we have to buy the big box? Yeah. Yeah, buy 2 of them. Buy 2 of the slightly bigger boxes. Buy the slightly big box, not the biggest one. Buy 2 of them.
What Exodite units released for Warhammer 40,000?
Keep an eye out on warhammercommunity.com.
Well, the only units we know about so far are the ones in this box, but it is quite a flexible kit. So the kit can make your Dragon Knights, and it also makes the Dragon Masters, which make 3 different units effectively, which work as independent characters. So from that one set, you effectively get 4 data sheets worth of stuff to put into an Eldar army.
Cool. Great.
Okay, got it wrong. Chat. Court got the answer wrong. All right. I was waiting for him to be like, just go check out Warhammer Community. And they'd be like, why are we doing this Q&A? Why did you answer that question? But they also didn't answer the question, are there any more in the future this kit builds for? You know?
Are the Battlefield Armageddon kits, the unpainted iterations, compatible with other Sector Imperialis and Mechanicum terrain sets? Can I mix and match the walls, doors, gantries, etc.?
So the Armageddon Battlefield terrain sets are designed to be fully interactive with each other, but there's not specific fittings that work across our other 40k sets. What I would say is, obviously, there's a very similar sort of design aesthetic across a lot of Imperial terrains. You know, you see the same sort of industrial shapes and motifs and things. So they work really nicely alongside each other, but you won't necessarily be able to clip them into each other. Does that make sense?
Yeah, it makes total sense.
Perfect. Can we get some clarification on...
Do you, who's preset the answers, understand that? Yes, Eddie. Yes, Adam. I do.
the healing keyword? Can a character model... This was asked a bunch.
Whoa, what the fuck? This isn't about the Q&A. This isn't about the big summer preview. Wait a minute. This isn't about fucking big summer... This is snuck in. Alright, maybe it's worth watching. Alright, maybe it's worth watching. What the fuck? Why is this snuck into this video? Big summer Q&A about the preview. Let's answer rules questions. Alright.
Can a character model that has been killed be revived by a healing mechanic or character? For example, Necron Overlord dies. Can he be reanimated?
Does it, if they say wait for an FAQ?
So we got loads of questions.
I'm doing that thing, chat. The meme.
Questions about this. Wasn't specifically a question from the preview, but
No.
since we got asked it so much, we thought we would address it. This is a topic that gets specifically addressed in the upcoming update, which is coming.
Wait for the FAQ, baby. Yo, Vampire, thank you for the 5 gifter, bro. Appreciate you, man. Appreciate you. What a legend. Oh, what a boy. Thank you so much, man. Thank you so much. That's very kind of you. I am keeping track of everybody, spoilers, who is gifting and super chatting. We got 5 more Papaya Pariah. As you can see, they're all updated from the other stream on Wednesday that we did. Every time you gift a membership, every time you super chat, every time you resub, every time you become a member first time, every time you donate, or you can enter for free at special.tnc in chat, you're entered in to win 1 box of Red Corsairs. And by one box, I mean a big box. It's got Red Corsair Captain. It's got 10 Red Corsair Raiders. It's got 10 Chaos Space Marine Legionnaires, 5 Chaos Terminators, and 10 Traitor Guardsmen, all in one box. So if you'd like to enter to win, you can for free, but also you can enter again using super chats and donations and all those lovely things that help support the channel, help support doing what I do, which is laughing at this video. Big C, let's go. Big C, you are a parasocial tier for 3 years, dude. Holy shit, Big C, thank you for the paras. That's crazy, dude.
Celebrates 36 months.
What a boy.
Julie, it's in the FAQ.
That's so true. Thank you so much for the 3 years, man. I really appreciate it. Parasocial tier as well. So it gets exclusive access to the WhatsApp group. So it gets 5 entries. It's a box that'll pair really well with Elite's Dad's Defiler. That's so true. That's so true. Thanks for the support, guys. Really appreciate it. I'm just going to move this so I've got it. There you go. Right, let's see what else they've got to say with this sneaky rules one.
Like about 10 days' time, so really close.
10 days' time. The rumour is about the 20th. That's the rumour. Obviously, it's the 10th, so...
Specifics of healing and specifically characters and healing gets addressed and hopefully sorted out to everyone's satisfaction.
Great.
No FAQ, no answer. It's answered later.
When the new Orc Codex releases, will Gretchen still have runt herds available as part of the unit?
Yes, they will. The grots that come inside Armageddon or the Warhammer 40,000 starter set don't have a runt herd with them, but the separate set does. So you can include a runt herd if you want to keep your grots in line or not.
So you can have them unsupervised or supervised?
Yeah, it depends how cruel you're feeling, I suppose, whether you need a runt herd. Similar question, actually. Will the Orc boys...
That's I will say that's a nice... I don't know, I feel like I already knew that, but that's nice little clarification, you know what I mean? It's like the old kit will still be available. So that's nice that you can run it with and without. That's cool. Hopefully it's not going to the Tacoma ruling because that is bomb. Yeah, we'll look at that soon.
One knob to every 9 boys, and can they take more than one special weapon per 10? Asking for my nearly 800 Orc boys.
So the new Orc Codex, which is obviously coming out fairly soon, has a new data sheet for boys.
Mm-hmm.
Boys are now 1 knob for every 9 boys.
So you can have multiple knobs.
You can have multiples. And the other thing...
Wait a minute. I could be double knobber. I could be Uncle Double Knobber, not just Uncle Knob. I could be Uncle Double Knob. Holy shit, dude. Holy shit. Uncle Double Knob in one squad. That's literally me, bro. You know? When I'm 20, I'm Double Knob.
You can do is that you can effectively have 1 of each of the special weapons for every 10 of the orcs you have in the unit. So if you have a unit of 20, you could have 2 big shooters, 2 rockets, 2 burners.
That's pretty cool.
So yeah, you can have a lot of DACA in the unit.
Fuck, that's wild. That's quite a lot. That's like, oh, didn't mean to move that. I meant to move this. I was gonna put myself in the middle again so you can see their faces. So they're talking past me all the time. That's a double per 10. Bruh, that's a lot.
Alongside all the choppers and shooters and sluggers and all the rest of it.
So if you have 800 Orc boys, that's a lot of options opening up to you.
Yep. Even if the orcs don't win the Siege of Deathmire campaign, will they still get new toys?
Yeah.
They've had truck. There's a truck right there. Shut the fuck up.
Yes. Siege of Deathmire has been a fun experience for everybody to register their games with the new sets they've bought and to celebrate the new edition. And all it means is which order will reveal some stuff in. So don't worry, Orc players, you'll get your treats.
But you should still try really hard to win.
Oh yeah, try and win, because the Imperium's been trouncing you. And I'm being very grateful for all the reveals.
I can tell you, though,
Oh, go on.
in this week, at the moment, week 2 and week 1 were both won by the Imperium. The Orcs are slightly ahead in week 3.
So come on, the Orcs.
Yeah, so if they win that...
Me when I come on the orcs. Play sound effect. Me when I come on the orcs.
And also, all of our Warhammer stores.
Wait. Me when I come on the orcs.
Reports orc victories on average. The orcs hold them to a draw and drag Deathmire into a perpetual state of unending war, which is kind of a win if you're an orc, right?
That's what the Orcs want. This question's got nothing to do with it.
Orc tribute video. Nah, it's just me in my spare time.
Anything but was quite funny. Will Angron ever achieve a significant victory in the lore?
So I think that's pretty harsh. He almost killed Dante before the lion showed up to save it for the Armageddon miniatures.
Man, I hope so. I really enjoyed doing those. The round tables with the guys from the Warhammer studio were really fun and quite illuminating. So hopefully, yes.
Adam, where you looking, mate? Camera's over here.
Not unlike the last question. This was asked a bunch, so I've collected some of these questions into one thing. Quick fire. Where is the Wolf King? Vulcan lives. Where are you hiding Perturabo? We need a clear answer. Are we going to see the return of our Primarch Sanguinius? For the love of the Emperor, can we please get another loyalist Primarch to even the odds? Can you guys give us anything?
Okay, I'm going to stop you, Adam. So I think we had a lot of questions about Primarchs. I think the last time we had a Q&A, we sort of
Just look out on the Warhammer community web.
Hinted that maybe the Primarchs were all dead. I might have slightly misspoken when I said all the Primarchs were dead. What is true is that your favourite Primarch is dead. Whichever, if you're watching, whichever one your favourite one is, he's dead.
Very good.
Mine's fine.
Is there a high Gothic name for the bolter?
So, I thought there was, and that's why I put the question in the stack. And I've been researching all around Games Workshop headquarters. I've spoken to you, went and found Wade, who is a lore master in his own right and knows everything, and we couldn't find one. So, but the question has got me on a quest. So when
Feels like we should have a high Gothic
when
name
I
for the bolter,
finally
doesn't it?
locate that name, I'll let people know. When are the updated rules?
Oh my god, there was a fucking cut there. Did you see that? Here we go. Right, this is the big question. So, someone spoke to me, before this question's answered, someone spoke to me and told me things they definitely shouldn't have. And said that essentially they'd forgotten to, like, get the guy to write Combat Patrol until... until it was basically too late. Basically, you know, the point was they'd kind of gone, oh, we should rewrite this, and then by the time they actually got around to start rewriting it, they'd basically it was the we kind of forgot, you know, we kind of forgot that about the Iron Fleet, you know, it's very much that. So there are, as far as I'm aware, no changes unless they've done them all really last minute. Which is why I've not seen anything, and that's why they're not printed anything, and that's why the companion book has nothing in it. Take that with a pinch of salt. Didn't hear it from me. Just someone was talking a little bit too much, you know. So it did make me laugh. It was very funny. It was very funny when I was talking to him about it. But that's why they've not seen anything, because I think they wanted to do like a Spearhead relaunch, but then they just didn't because they forgot.
For Combat Patrol releasing.
Yeah, so that's a good question.
Also, 11th edition was like 6 months behind,
After a lot
and it shows.
as well.
Yeah, Combat Patrol updates will happen alongside the first of the monthly updates for Warhammer 40,000.
Yep.
And
They're giving themselves a month and a half to write it. They've given themselves a month and a half to write the prick.
they will be on or around the 22nd of July.
Cool.
There we go. 22nd of July confirmed.
So not too far.
Does Red the Maw from Warhammer Age of Sigmar have a favourite tasting enemy to battle against?
Nottingham's ham by the absolute power of my Inquisitional Rosette. I request immediate clarification. Okay, so some of these are quite long-winded. Here's a quicker stab. Give it to me straight. I can handle it. Will Imperial agents get any more support during 11th edition?
Oof,
Yeah, so we got
that's a big question.
of questions about Imperial agents.
That's a big
the answer is
question.
yes, you will get more support as the new edition goes on. There's no new detachments at launch, but we do still know there's loads of people who love those kind of cool little niche bits of Imperial lore, like the Arbites and the Inquisition.
Well, it's interesting you say that, because I've been reading Hive by Dan Abnett, and I'm super tempted to start an Arbites army of my own.
Yeah. So you'll continue to be able to use those in Warhammer 40,000. They're not going away.
Perfect.
Will ogres still have two?
Okay. Cool. An army roll would be nice, yeah. What's the army roll that you can take as an ally? No, sick. Yeah, fucking sick, bro. The army rule is you can take him with a different army. 40 quid, please. They kind of said there's new updates, and then they said they wouldn't be. A bit of a nothing burger question, I think.
Are we able to build the model without the rider and their saddle?
Yes, the answer is yes. I actually went and had a chat to the design team behind it, and you can build the model without the Chaos Lord, the Chaos Sorcerer, or the Throne, and it doesn't leave any weird holes or anything. It just looks like a beautiful unridden dragon, perfect for representing Galrak, for example.
Cool.
Beautiful. That's good. I like that. I like that. That's good. That's good.
Nice. A little bit more on ogres. Could we get a list of the ogre More Tribes miniatures, which will be going to Legends after the Battle Tomes release?
Totally can. I've got that list somewhere. Please hold.
Bro, there's going to be so many. Got many fucking donkeys.
So, obviously, this is a fairly major range update for the ogres. There is some stuff staying. There is some stuff going. I can tell you that the things that are getting a new model are the Butcher, the Hunters and Frost Sabers, the Tyrant, the Iron Gut.
That's not what's going to Legends, Eddie. We didn't ask that. We didn't ask what's getting new models. We said what's going to Legends.
And the Gluttons. We've seen all those already.
Yes.
Staying in the army, so that's kits that stick around, are the Scrap Launcher and Iron Blaster, the Thunder Tusk, the Stonehorn, the Bloodpelt Hunter, the Man Trapper, the Gorgers, the Morpit, and Kragnos. So
no Mornfang. Mornfang RIP. So no Mornfang. Oof.
Still quite a bunch of stuff that sticks around. And then leaving the range, although I would say that a lot of these you could probably find a sort of counts as alternative within the range. Man-Eaters, the current Man-Eater models are going away. You could certainly use them as Gluttons or Iron Guts if you wanted to. Yetis are going away if you wanted to use them as Gorgers. I think that'd be a perfectly reasonable stand-in. The Fire Bellies going away. Lead Belchers are going away, but you
no Lead Belchers. They're going to Old World, mate. All of this is going to the Old World. You know that, don't you?
do have that very cool new Grell Fire Fist, which is kind of like a bit like a Lead Belcher. Nobblers as a unit are going away, but there are still Nobblers sort of sprinkled around.
Getting underfoot.
Yeah, there's still. I saw a few people worried that Nobblers were going to kind of disappear completely from the lore and from the army. You do still have a few of them. So, for example, the Man Trapper has a few little Nobbler trappers that kind of accompany him. The Scrap Launcher still has Nobblers. So they work more like the goblins and the critters that kind of hang out with the crawlers that hang out with the Sons of Bahamut, rather than a unit in their own right. And then the last two are the Great Moorpot goes away, mostly because Red now carries it around with him, and the Mournfangs go away, but that's because they're effectively replaced by Moorbeast cavalry. Yeah. There you go.
Right. Yeah, all of that is going to the old world. That's what's happening. Let's be real. All of it's gone to the old world.
Okay.
Because that's making more money.
Hopefully that answers that.
I will say though, fair play to him to being like straight up with it.
Fairly sort of heavily asked question. A lot of people want to know, would it be possible to get a status update on the state of Warcry?
Oh, spicy.
Yeah, so we got quite a few questions about Warcry. We didn't cover Warcry in the preview. We will have some Warcry news for you quite soon.
Last time they said something like that about Aeronautica, the news was the game's getting killed. The news was the game's over.
One thing we can confirm today is that there are some new Warcry rules on the way. And we'll cover, amongst other things, the new Ogre More Tribes miniatures that are on their way.
Great. Nice.
But for how long? But for how long? How long are those rules available? Is it like, right guys, the game's over, here's your new Ogre More Tribes. Fuck off. It's because old people that play the old world have more money than teenagers who play OS. Also very true. Also very, very true. Yeah, good point.
This one is an old world question. Orion falling in Krollmore's trap and falling in battle is a momentous moment in the lore. Unfortunately, it's a bit light on details. Are there any plans to explore this event, or do you have any details you can share about it? It might be a bit messed up, but the Beastmen would 100% make a banner out of his remains, I think.
I agree. So, be supported rules-wise for Warhammer 40,000.
Will the new Custodian model be supported rules-wise? Should be.
In 11th edition, are they going to Legends?
They did say that they were going to update them with 11th edition, and then they just didn't. Like a lot of things. There was a lot of things that GDB said, we will be doing this at the launch, and then haven't done, this being one of them.
They're not going to Legends, they will be supported. All the new Custodes plastics will be usable in Warhammer 40,000 as themselves in Warhammer 40,000.
Yeah, Grav Attack, let's go!
And all the things you'd want.
Perfect. No confusion, no room for doubt. All there.
Are you going to sell pre-made Battle March box sets?
Are we going to sell pre-made Battle March box sets? Yes, we announced 2 in the Big Summer preview, actually. So,
pardon? What is this question?
So the first two are Warriors of Chaos and the Army of Grand Cathay. They are tuned to be 600-point armies. So there's information
What is this question? I don't get it.
there which shows you the
Am I dumb? Am I being stupid? What's this question?
upgrades and things they might have.
You stop
So that
fucking
the idea
about.
is you can put them straight on the table and just play a game of Battle March with them right away. And we can expect there to be more in the future. It's going to be a really good way, I think, of dipping your toe into the old world and starting playing great old world games.
Sweet.
While I very much appreciated the comparison of the new plastic Telemon Dreadnought to his Leviathan and Saturnine cousins, I would love to see an apples-to-apples comparison of the plastic Telemon to the currently available.
I don't know why they didn't do this. This is such an own goal. Why did they fucking post the Telemon next to the Saturnine Dreadnought and not it next to the old one?
Resin version.
No, but I've got two apples right here, as it turns out. So this...
Right, the funniest shit you could do right now is to pull out two apples. The funniest shit you could do right now is pull out two apples.
is the... Very carefully.
Oh, never mind.
The current resin Telemon Dreadnought. And this is the new plastic Telemon Dreadnought.
Quite nerve-wracking moving them around, isn't it?
As you can see...
Oh, it's slightly taller. Are they going to zoom in or is that it?
same.
Oh, there we go. Oh, no, they've got a side angle so you can't even see that. Oh, yeah, sorry. Sorry, chat. It's like a side angle so you can't really see it.
The same kind of size.
Maybe half
There
a
is-
centimetre bigger.
Yeah, a little bit bulkier in places. The shoulder pads are a slightly different shape. The missiles are a
Yeah.
little bit longer. You maybe get about half a centimetre higher, something like that.
Ever so slightly higher, but not so much that it matters.
So you could definitely have both in an army very happily.
But yeah, they put them all the way over there, then put a side angle on, so you can't really see the size comparison. Probably to avoid 3D printing, lol.
But they are ever so slightly bigger.
Nice.
Can we expect the hinted at Demons of Tzeentch army list for the Horus Heresy to be similar to classic Tzeentch army lists from other games, or can we expect it? Can we expect to see some more ambiguous Ruinstorm flavor, unique unit entries, and unit upgrades? And what does it mean for my Ruinstorm demons?
Right, so the way that the new Journal Tactica, which deals with Valdor helping in the Burning
Battle
Cross-
March is 450 points. I understand what Battle March is. My question was, the question was, are you going to sell pre-made Battle March boxes? I was like, what? What do you mean? Are you going to sell pre-made? Yeah, of course they are. They've renounced two already. What sort? I didn't understand what the question was trying to say. That's what I meant. Are they making new ones? Are they making more? Yeah, okay, that's a question. Are you going to sell them? No, they're going to make them and then put them in the cupboard.
So it introduces the Demons of Tzeentch list. That is a separate detachment that includes a whole bunch of demons, for example, a Lord of Change and Blue Horrors and so on. You can use it as a standalone thing. You can also fold it into the existing Demons of the
The question was to try to say, please be excited to consume product. It's very that, yeah. I just didn't get what the question was asking. Are you asking, are they going to sell models?
Storm PDF army. So if you already collect one of those, it's essentially an additional detachment that you can use with those. And it doesn't replace the Demons of the Ruinstorm. So they're two separate things that you can either use together or separately. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Good. Going back to Chaos Warriors, new Chaos Warriors are awesome. Any plans for weapon upgrade packs for them?
I'm sure we'll see.
Yeah, the
It's
Warlord,
nice that you get to
or
say
the
these.
canopy-mounted Bellicosa Volcano Cannon.
The same as the existing gangs, or are there variations?
So the new can we expect to see rules for in the new edition, specifically the Gangs of the Underhive and Gangs of the Outland book.
Who the hell is that strapping young Goliath model we've seen in the images? Not included in the starter box? No, the rules for those.
Corpse Grinders, Enforcers, Cavils, and campaign rules.
I think it's just fair to Monday, so I've wondered, and the only gang was in different languages.
Yes, it will.
In the future, actually.
Cool.
Will Warhammer Academy be supported?
Tell me about it. I need to know about this so bad.
Yes, it will. It will be supported in English, French, German, Italian, Spanish, Chinese, Japanese, and Korean.
Yes, I think that's
Is that
correct.
all?
Yeah,
Yeah.
I think it's 8. English, French, Italian, German, Spanish, Chinese, Japanese, Korean. Yes.
It's because the Asian markets are their prime growth markets, and they know how much money can be made. Didn't hear like in India or anything like that, did you?
Okay.
Can you give examples of how the new Necromunda will be balanced and streamlined?
So, I have to be brief, but the function, the depth Necromunda, it's not the Necromunda, the thing with your modern, so just pour. Nice. This is a random one. Hi, what do you think tastes better, Agress Earthshade or Nuln Oil?
Tourist, any real Warhammer player knows that answer. It is Agrax Earthshade because it's slightly more bitter than Nuln Oil, which tastes a bit greasy. You know? That's what I'm saying. Every not Warhammer player knows this because you put it in your mouth by accident.
I mean, asking the big questions here. I think
the nicest paint.
Don't drink your.
The nicest paint is Bone White by Vallejo because it looks like white chocolate and it tastes like it if you think about it.
Paint.
That is definitely the answer. And the worst paint I've accidentally had in my mouth is undoubtedly typhus corrosion because it's really bitty.
Don't eat typhus corrosion, kids. Don't do it. I've got one for you.
Nice.
I've been wondering since you guys updated the Black Library app, are there any plans to make a Warhammer TV app? I'd love to be able to watch Law.
On your PC or Mac or whatever, you've got Apple, Google, and Roku, Amazon Way, the Warhammer Plus on.
Awesome.
There we go.
That's the end of my questions.
That's the end of my questions. All that remains, I guess, is to say thank you to everybody that took the time to send questions in. It really was a pleasure to read through them all. Sorry.
All right, that wasn't for me. That video chat wasn't for me. I'll be honest.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to the big.
Not to be spoiled brat. Not to be like, haha, Mikey hates everything. I don't think I was the target audience for that video. You know. I don't think I was a huge fan. It just wasn't my jam, I don't think. I don't care about shit like that, you know what I mean? No, I don't care. It's just like, it's just not... It's not aimed at me to ask these like really benign questions like, will you put products for sale eventually? It's like, whatever. Whatever. Excellent question. Was the excellent question good? What's the Eldara unit? What army is the Eldara unit for? I don't know, bro. I don't know. I'm happy to be corrected. But I wasn't like... I wasn't wowed by it. I wasn't wowed by it, let's be honest. And I'm not trying to be extremely cynical on purpose, but it's just like... I mean... It wasn't for me. It's not aimed at me, is it? Let's be honest. Like, a big Q&A about reveals, it's just more slop, in my opinion. Jacob! Thanks for the team, man. I really appreciate it. Let me get you into our giveaway. You are entered in to win a Red Cross Science Army at the end of the month. These can be running Drukhari These can't be running Drukhari is a legitimate answer when so many Eldari units can. What Eldari units can you run in Drukhari? What Eldari units can you run in Drukhari? None? You can run Drukhari units in Eldari? As Yanari? Harlequins are separate. Harlequins aren't Eldari. They're in the Eldari Codex. Corsairs I can get. I didn't realise you could run Corsairs with Drukhari. I'll give you that. Harlequins are separate, right? Let's be honest. They just roll. They didn't want to keep producing a codex for them. They're a separate army, though. And can't you only run Harlequins and Drukhari if you run a certain detachment? I said it's a separate too. Well, maybe lore-wise, yeah, but not product-wise. They do have the Eldari keyword, don't they? Like Incubi, for example. I'll give you that. I'll give you that. Alright. I'll give you that then, chat. Fair enough. I thought it was super obvious. I mean, I still think it's kind of super obvious because it's a single unit, not like a faction at all. But I'll give you that. I'll give you that. I was slightly wrong. I do apologise. I didn't know. I thought this was just like a detachment thing. Like, what is it? Reaper's Wager or something? You've upset the elf fanboys. Oh, what's this? Oh. Yeah, I thought it was, I thought it was just Reaper's Wager. I didn't realize it had this rule. I'll let you that. You can have that one. You can have that one for free, chap. You won. You win this one. All right? You win this one. Great job. I think the rest of the video was shite. Just, like I said, not for me. Not anything that I'm super interested in. Right. We got 2 more things to cover. We got 2 more things to cover, chat. So Games Workshop announced the death of Warhammer World today. They announced the death of Warhammer World. There is the UKTC announced their slop events for the rest of the year, and they've got 30 events now this year or something stupid, all in gym halls, all terrible in my opinion. And just for clarity, for legal reasons, that's my opinion. You can go and make your own opinion if you want. I wouldn't recommend it though, personally. But Games Workshop are also announcing events, all right? More events, more often. That's what they've announced today. If you've tried to get a ticket for UK Tournament One World, you probably notice how fast they sell out. It's a great gaming space, but for everyone who gets to play, there many more people can't. The UK gaming community has simply outgrown the Warhammer World space. So we're going to move our major tournaments and other organised play events out of One World into larger venues where we can accommodate more gamers at every event, just as we do in the US and Europe. All right. Not only this will give more people a chance to play any ticket event, we'll be able to hold more events and more often. We'll be moving them around the UK, importantly, as we try out different venues and event formats. You should see events closer to you. Around the UK, chat. Epsom Downs, Telford, and Kempton Park. And I was like, I know where Telford is. That's where Spudman is. I know Telford. It's near Birmingham. Where's Epsom Downs and Kempton Park? If you go to Google Maps, right? You go to Google Maps and you search Kempton Park, and you go, oh, it's a race course. Ah, it's in London. All right, okay. Sure, all right, fair enough. It's in London. They're obviously gonna run a London event. Where's Epsom Downs? Wait a minute. It's in London. Wait a minute. They're both in London. And then I was like, how far away are they? Oh, they are 13 miles apart. They are a mere 30-minute drive apart. Let's take Warhammer on the road and run 2 events 30 minutes apart. It's not even the other side of London. It's the same side. It's barely off the compass. It's barely off the fucking compass. They're both southwest. Let's run 2 events. Let's take them around the UK and then run them 13 miles apart. Fuck it. No, everyone hates London. Fucking hell, dude. What is going... This is going around the UK American edition. Some fucking American... I know who. Some fucking American has gone, let's take them all around the UK, and it's gone to 2 places in fucking London. Fucking hell. And they're 2 months apart, dude. What is happening? It's not London. Shut up, it's London. Shut up, it's London. It's in fucking London. It's right there. I can see the British Museum when I can stand on the building with my little binoculars. It's like, oh, there it is. What do you mean it's not? Where else is it then? That's fucking London suburbs, mate. This ring, the M25, everything inside is London. Epsom's London. Right, okay, 1 second. Is Epsom Downs London? Shut up. AI shit anyway. Shut the fuck up. Look, just to clarify.
Heathrow Airport is London. That's London.
If Heathrow Airport's London, that's London. Where's Heathrow Airport?
Heathrow Airport is classed as a London airport. Sorry, I'm very, very passionate about this.
Oh my god, it's 100% London. It's literally on the same fucking line. You can draw one straight line between those three venues.
You're welcome.
Thanks, babe. This is a London airport. I have to get a London train. I have to get a train to London to get to Heathrow. This is all London. It's all London, bro. You know? It's all fucking London. You know what it is? It's a fucking shithole. It's fucking miles away from anything. Alright? Anything below this line, I give Nottingham a free pass. They're Southerners to me. I give them a free pass though. Anything below fucking Stoke-on-Trent is the south. All of this is London, in my opinion. Surrey is South London. Is Surrey South London? Nah, I don't. It's not part of Greater London. It's because none of it's part of Greater London because it's all awful. It's part of terrible London. Bro, it's London. How long would it take me to get to London? Right? The middle. I want to go from Epsom Downs to Big Ben. How long? An hour and a half. That's London, bro. That's London. That's London. Anyway, fucking, let's run loads of events and hold them. You want to say it's not London? Fine. Let's hold them 13 miles apart. Let's focus on that fact, shall we? Around the UK, holds them 13 miles apart. And then they hold one at Telford. All right. I was like, oh, shit, Telford? I can go to that. You know, Telford's a bit annoying to get to, but I can get down there. That's not too bad. It's like 2 hours away. Warhammer 40,000 doubles. Let's try out. Whose idea was this? Let's try out different formats of Warhammer event. Let's try them all out. Let's hold 2 identical ones 2 months apart in the same location, and the only one that's different is a doubles event. like. If they said that this one was doubles and this one was singles, I get it. Because they're basically in the same location. But let's hold it somewhere else. Let's hold it in the Midlands where more people can attend rather than going to London. Because if I want to go to Epsom Downs, I would rather stab myself in the eyeball. And then Kempton Park, I'd rather stab myself in the other eyeball because it's London. I'll go to Telford. I have to play doubles. What is the fucking idea behind this, bro? What's going on? Oh, look, wait a minute. September. South London, West London. It's London, bro. Even Games Workshop say it. West and South London are geographically separate. No, they're not. They're still London. They're London, and it's all shit. All right? If you live in London, I feel sorry for you. And also, if you live in London, you can afford £17,000 in rent every month. So send me a fucking super chat, you tight cunt. How about that, Londoners? God. I mean, East London. Did I stutter, Dan? Did I fucking stutter? Either way, both in London. Both in London. Awful. Right, Google Maps. Right, okay. Maps again, just to prove a point. It also says on screen that it's London. Just want to clarify. Are we not getting doxed here? Probably. Luton Airport. Luton Airport. London Luton Airport And there it is. Is this not London? Who is it? Fucking Londoners. Fucking London. Oh, actually, South London isn't London. It's South London. Guess what? Guess what? That's still London. At this point, Essex is London. It's all London. Chelmsford is London. Reading is London. Look at it. It's all the same. Look at this. The centralization of power is all of London, and all the shit that's all ignored is all up here. I can't wait to live near New London. New London, Great Manchester, with my mate Andy Burnham. Can't fucking wait, lad. I'm gonna go in. I'm gonna put my sunglasses on again. I'm gonna be like, I'm gonna stand outside North, number 10 North, and be like, anyone want some lasagna? That's what I'm gonna do. I can't wait. It's gonna be wonderful. Send the power to the north and fuck the Londoners. Fuck the Londoners. Nobody likes London. Not even people who live in London. Twisting my melon, man. If that's London, if Luton Airport is London, so is those two places that are near London. Seems I joined at a good time. It's any awesome lasagna. Yeah, man. Yeah, man. Don't know, don't care. Ain't no one gonna take me there, or however it goes. That one. There was a time that that was my TikTok. It was just that bit, and it was like, Noel Gallagher and Noel Gallagher and Liam Gallagher had a huge argument, and this was their last time they played on the Apple show, and it's I can't remember which one's which. Noel Gallagher. No, it's Liam Gallagher, and he's like well mad, and Noel Gallagher is playing, and he's saying he don't know, and he's saying he don't care over and over and over again, and I was just like, cinema. This is what it is, you know. This is what it is. See if I can get it. The saddest performance.
July 21st,
I just want to see the clip. That's the right one. Can I bring it up? Why is it playing the wrong video? This one. It gets so mad. This over and over and over again. Right, I have to pause it before I get copyright claimed. This one! Wait for his face! Look how mad he is! Look how fucking angry he is! What a twat. Both twats, to be fair. Look how angry he is, bro! He's so fucking triggered! They're both bellends, yeah. I mean, don't get me wrong, some absolute bangers, right? Some absolute bangers, like timeless classics, all right? Timeless classics. But this is a funny clip of two bellends with too much money spitting their dummies out. And that's funny. Look how mad he is! Oh, my brother can sing just as well as I can. Anyway, fuck London, right? My point was, it's fuck London, and I can't believe they're running an event in Telford, and it's Warhammer doubles. I'm not against them running Warhammer doubles, but why run the same event in the same place twice, and then not like, oh, this one will also be singles? You know? If they'd gone doubles, singles, fine, or vice versa, and then this one was singles, I'm not being funny. Doubles sounds fun, but it also sounds like a lot. I think I've played doubles. I've not played doubles in a few years. I don't know who I'd play doubles with. I've got loads of friends. Would they want to commit to like a £100 a ticket each to go play doubles? Maybe, maybe not. But also, I just like playing singles. You can play AOS singles in Telford. Yeah, but why? Why is it not? Where's the 40k stuff? Like I said, they could have done the 2 formats near each other, and that would have made sense. This doesn't, in my opinion. Mackie got no friends to play doubles with. Quiet, great name. Oh, they all send off camera. Wow. The race courses are owned by the same business. It's all coming together. It's all coming together, isn't it, chap? Isn't it just? Yeah, I can't take Elliot. He'd fucking prove that he doesn't even buy his own models. He'd get me in trouble. But yeah, outside of the geographically challenged on the road, I just don't understand why they'd hold one event somewhere else and it'd be an odd format, you know what I mean? When they're holding the same event just over 2 months apart. That's my point. Anyway, there's your interesting thing. They have clarified that they're not going to be running events at Warhammer World anymore. The events manager of Warhammer World is now the global events contact for clarity. So he's moved on to something else. It sounds like a lot of the events team has, and there's now a smaller team that's running one-day events for Old World and Middle Earth. So you should email them and show them how to do it. I should do that. Yeah. I don't get why there's nothing in the north. Well, probably just because of the oversaturation of large events in the north now, because as soon as you run an event in a city, some cunt will come drop one, worse, but more exposure and more players. So you can't run one again and make it extremely difficult. You know what I mean? So the oversaturation in the north is probably the problem we've got. But these are exceptionally close to LGT, which I was quite surprised at, you know. Or charge 600 quid, that's true. But yeah, like Telford's far, but it's like manageable, you know what I mean? Where's my map? I've lost my map tab. I've lost my bloody maps. Like, Telford's far away, don't get me wrong. But it's like way more manageable for most people in the country, you know what I mean? Don't forget the AI flyers for their events. Yeah, it would surprise me. Yo, Ryo, thank you for joining the boys club, dude. Thank you so much for the join the boys club. Let me get you into our giveaway.
Member.
You are being entered in to win a Red Corsairs army, bud. So I really appreciate it. So yeah, Telford, like I said, it's quite far, but it's more manageable for everyone. For me, it's like a couple of hours. For like Manchester, it's not too bad. Like Birmingham's easy. You know, Leeds can manage. York's probably a bit too far. But it's like, oh yeah, shit, they're all on there. Yo, Rio, thanks for tagging the sponsors. Make sure you check out Warmag. We love Warmag. And also, I should say, Warmag, they've just had a huge update. I'm going to do like a proper update next week. But if you live in the EU or in the US, my code now works. So you can get like a discounted Warmag base sheets, get the really useful boxes or similar, and then you can get the inner base magnets using my code. Just use code Hellstorm at checkout. You'll get 20% off or more. I think it might even be 30% at the minute, but you can do that in the UK, the EU, and the US now. Just go to their specific website. Just use code Hellstorm at checkout. I'll get supported. You'll get a discount. So shout out to Warmag. And shout out to everyone who's been drinking G Fuel as well. Love it. In my head, Leeds and Sheffield are more East Coast than Central. Pardon? Pardon? What do you mean they're East Coast? What do you mean the East Coast? Are you high? We're in the middle, bro. We're in the middle of England. I'm the middle of England. You know? I realize I'm not showing you. What do you mean? Who says Sheffield's in the East Coast? It can't be further from the coast. It's bang in the middle. The closest coast is the fucking Humber. And that's barely a coast. That's a dumping ground. Fucking hell. It'd probably be quicker for me to drive to Liverpool to get to the River Mersey than it would be to get to the fucking coast. Who said that? Rich Beanon, are you okay? I know they're in the middle, but in my head they are on the east. Okay, yeah, bro's just vibing. Bro's just vibing. Sheffield is literally on about 4 hills. It's on the 7 hills. The 7 hills of Sheffield. Seven hills. The 7 hills of Sheffield. Let's go! It's a boss man shot. Let's go! Right, okay. Anyway. Sheffield is the same distance away from the coast as East London is to South London. So basically it's the East Coast. No, that's not true. That's not true. That's not a fact. That's not a fact. You are talking out your bum. You are talking botty. Okay. In a couple of weeks, chat. Maybe next week. I'm trying to find out the exact date for it. It doesn't say. In a couple of weeks, their Games Workshop are holding their very first 11th edition tournament. The Warhammer Open Tacoma, Washington. Which is basically Las Vegas if you look at it on a map, according to my chat. But the Warhammer Open Tacoma, or Tacoma Warhammer Open, has had a big FAQ because it's going to be before the big official update on the 22nd of July, which they confirmed today. It says there's a big update. The first official grand tournament is 500 players and 100 narrative players joining us in Tacoma, Washington from next Friday. Oh, so it's next week, so it's going to be the 17th, right? 17th, 18th, 19th. One, they've made an FAQ. 2, which was pointed out to me in Parasocial. It says that we will confirm will be the first event in the world to have 11th edition terrain, which is hilarious. We're the first ones in the world to use a new ready painted terrain that they make. They make this terrain, chat, and I just want to confirm that they will be using the terrain that they make to play 11th edition in their 11th edition event. So, listen, they're going absolutely fucking nutty, okay? What I also found funny was it's set up wrong! It's got the wrong bits on the wrong pieces. That was funny. It doesn't mirror. It's not right. It's not the right terrain and the right bits. That building should be there. This building should be there. This bit should be there. This bit is for these bits. This bit is supposed to have the barricade on either side. There's a random barricade here. Thought that was funny. You know, I thought that was quite funny. But that's not really relevant. It doesn't matter, to be honest. The fun thing is that they've made an FAQ. We've released an FAQ that clarifies how we're ruling on a few ambiguous rule points at the event. Because obviously a couple of days ago on my own stream, I was going over my own FAQ about regarding the rules that just don't make sense, or the rules that just don't physically work in 40k. Obviously, Games Workshop know this. They have an event next week, and they've included a new FAQ. So it's it adds and removes a few erroneously omitted or included keywords for units players you would expect them to. It also addresses the most asked rules questions we received over the last few days, which is about healing characters back into units. There's a small change here to how characters can be resurrected after death. Effectively, they don't rejoin their bodyguard unit and instead become their own units of one model. This takes the edge off a couple of emerging problematic units. This is obviously addressing the Necron Technomancer with Wraith Brick, but I want to go through the event FAQ and talk about the specific faction examples of why this FAQ exists and what it means. So this is the new FAQ. Like I said, this isn't the official launch of the FAQ. This isn't the FAQ for Warhammer 40k 11th edition. But they have basically said if you want to use it, go for it. So your event that you play at your local events or larger, slightly less local events might be using this or a version of it, such as my own event that's happening on Sunday this weekend, so in 2 days' time. I am going to be using this FAQ because it cleans up a lot of the game, and also it addresses a lot of things that I've already covered, but it addresses them in their way rather than my way, if that makes sense. So, like I said, I want to kind of go through it and see what they've got to say. It's not the main thing is it's not an official FAQ. It is an official FAQ for Tacoma, but it's not an 11th edition FAQ. It's just for their event. But this will probably shape a lot of what the FAQ is going to look like, and it's likely a good preview of what we should expect with our first big rules update. The comment I posted on Discord about how I can't wait for your rule and our Miracle Dice to be better than GW's has really aged like fine wine. So let's have a look. Let's have a look what they've got to say. They're basically saying it's a formal FAQ, it comes soon. We've got, this isn't official, you can use this if you want to. That's basically what they're saying here. So generating command points, excluding core CP, players can gain a maximum of 1 because they did not clarify that you can only gain 1 per turn, which is obviously stupid. This one, fairly standard. Modifying a stratagem CP cost. Rules that enable you to target a friendly unit with a stratagem for 0 CP, but that does not specify the name of the stratagem. Instead, reduce the cost of a CP by 1. So if you've got something that allows you to use heroic intervention for free, it now will still cost you 1 if you use the upgraded version, for example. This was definitely an interesting one. I feel like this is a wholehearted rule change rather than something that's like been missed. But basically, you can never reduce a stratagem's command point cost by more than 1 now. So you can only gain 1 per turn, but you can also only save command point money by 1 as well per ability. Which again, I think is quite an interesting one. It's a fundamental change. It means like interrupts can't be free. They'll only ever be 1. It means, like I said, the upgraded heroic intervention will always cost you at least 1, and then just like faction specific ones will also be reduced. But there's not many that I think off the top of my head. I'm sure chat can correct me if I'm wrong. There's not many that I can think off the top of my head that are like named but then cost more than 1. The named ones we're talking about is grenades / explosives. We're talking about tank shock / crushing impact. We're talking about Overwatch, etc. They're like a lot of the free ones that are named specifically. But I think there is a couple of heroic intervention one, and maybe that's why this is being covered. I can't remember off the top of my head. Is it Azumin who can heroic intervene for free? But now anyway, he can't. That's the main thing. It's down to 1, which is the important bit. 1 normal move per phase. When a unit ends a normal move, that unit cannot make another normal move in that phase. I don't know what can choose to make multiple normal moves. It's good that it's clarified, though. Because maybe, technically, if you can make multiple normal moves per phase, you move your model, then you pick it up and move it again, then you pick it up and move it again, by the rules. Stratagems that can be used more than once per phase or turn. Parts of a rule that allow a player to use a stratagem, even if they've already targeted another unit of that stratagem in the same phase, can only be used if the name of the stratagem is specified in this rule. Similarly, if a stratagem is limited to 1 use per player per turn, per battle round, or per battle, such parts of that rule can only be used if the name of the stratagem is specified in this rule. So this is like using grenades for free, even if it's already been used. It's only that specific stratagem. So, surge moves like berserkers. Oh, that's a great point. Yeah, surge moves. Because that's a normal move of X, right? Yeah, so surge move. This could be covering surge moves, etc. Interesting. Okay. Not mad that it's there. Just couldn't work out why it was there. So yeah, so this is basically clarifying anything that's like a captain ability that's right. So battle, reduce it by 1 and use it again. Oh, it's like use a command point for free, a stratagem for free, and use even if another unit's already used that stratagem. Now, basically, you can't do that unless it specifically says which stratagem you can use again. So, lancers, biologists, and stuff like that. Stratagems that add new units to your army. If a stratagem has the effect of adding a new unit to your army that is identical to the destroyed unit, add the following restriction to the stratagem. Restrictions: you can only use this stratagem once per battle. So reinforcements, like again, another one which is kind of like a lot of these things that we've seen so far are things that are clarified in advanced data slate and the core rules FAQ that they're then deleted but didn't copy those rules over into the core rules. So yeah, largely pretty fine. Largely pretty fine so far. So next we have stratagems that prevent units from being targeted. If a stratagem has an effect that says the target unit can only be selected and the target range attacking if the attacking unit is within 12, or cannot be targeted by ranged attackers unless the attacking model is within 12, that effect is changed to say can only be selected as the target of a ranged attack if the attacking model is within 18. Interesting. So this is like the, is it like the Canoptek Court has one of these? I'm sure Canoptek Court has something like this. Yeah, so counter-temporal shift. One Canoptek unit that was selected as target of an attack. You can't be targeted unless you're within 18. I suppose this is because this stratagem is essentially giving out hidden. They wanted to nerf it. I can't think of anyone else who has this, though, which is obviously a problem. Again, this feels like a rules change rather than a clear-up. Did we have this in the Battle State Slate before? I don't understand. Like I said, I don't understand what it's supposed to be saying. Grenade stratagem. This is the same as explosives. Tank shot, which is the same as tank crushing impact, which is good. Which is good. Like again, this is like kind of one of those where it's like if you already play 40k, this is kind of a given. If you don't play 40k, you're new to 40k, haven't played in a while, this isn't a given, and it shouldn't be concluded as one. So I think this is a nice change. Effects that cause desperate escape tests. If a stratagem or ability forces a unit to make a desperate escape test, that unit must make one hazard roll for each one on that unit, must make a battle shot roll. Oh, do we not have desperate escape anymore? Yeah, I don't think we have desperate escape anymore, do we? That'll be why. So this is kind of like just clarifying that like desperate escape, like there's like relic enhancements and stratagems that force a desperate escape, and I don't think there is desperate escape as a thing. Yeah, there's no desperate escape anymore, is there? That's why. There kind of is. It's in fallback move. Huh. Normal move restriction is mostly for reactive, I think. Like combat weapon lieutenant, use reactive move and then starting gladius to reactive again. Oh, yes, of course. That's true. So, yeah, it basically confirms that, like, desperate escape is kind of like falling back, but you do this. So it's basically how it used to be. Controlling the objective at the end of the phase. At the end of each phase and turn, the first thing players do before any other at the end of the phase or end of turn abilities trigger is to determine which objectives are controlled by which player. This is a really interesting one because this changes the rules as well. What this does is it nerfs Necrons and similar. Because you don't suddenly take control of something just by being on it. So the way that Necrons did this quite well is what they would do is they'd have a brick of Necrons, they would get shot off an objective, they'd then reanimate, get onto the objective with reanimation, and then they would claim primary. That would kind of like be the order of operation. What this does is it now locks control an objective at the end of a phase rather than at the start of like a new ability or check or whatever. So anything that revives in the command phase now won't be able to steal objectives away, which is like quite a humongous nerf, to be honest, to those sorts of armies. It's definitely an odd one. So you can't like revive onto objectives anymore because if you don't hold it at the end of the turn previously, if you heal during the command phase, you still don't hold it until the end of the command phase, and you score at the start of the command phase or whenever. whatever. It's healing doesn't change it, basically. This is quite a big change. This is like a really humongous change to anything that can heal or revive or bring back models. It's a very, to be honest, I'm very surprised at it, to be honest. If you've got like another great example is Thousand Suns with the Sorceress Regeneration, right? The new detachment, where when they do a ritual, they can heal models. You couldn't do a ritual, heal to claim an objective, and then cleanse it, for example, or do an action while holding an objective, because you don't hold it until the end, you know? So it's very, definitely a very interesting one. Then again, cleanse might work. Actually, because it says the end of each phase, the first things players do before the rules or ability to maybe actually cleanse is okay. It's Necrons holding specifically that's the problem, because holding objective isn't at the end of a phase; it's at the start. Maybe cleanse is fine. Okay, Necrons is the big one. And Leighton, I can't read the PDF. Did they fix the massive Imperial Knights objective rule thing? Well, I'm sure we'll get onto it. I'm sure we'll get there. Dedicated transport. We clocked this one. A friendly unit must be embarked within each friendly dedicated transport model. At the end of this step, each friendly dedicated transport without an embarked unit is destroyed, but they do not trigger rules like a trigger model destroyed. Pussies. They could have had it explode. But we clarified this one. Dedicated transports are really cheap. They need this clarification in there, definitely. So yeah. This is good. We clocked this one. That's good. Change the after moving objective consolidation. Objective consolidation. Your unit must be unengaged and within range of the selected objective. Thousands also don't regenerate to the shooting phase. That I was talking about, like cleanse. That's what I mean. But I think it's actually fine because of the timing of the action. Not holding primary. Objective consolidation. So it says no enemy is within 3 inches of this monster unit, but objective 6. Sorry, it doesn't say what objective consolidation is. Consolidation moves 12 away. Otherwise, if you need within 3 inches of one or more objective, you must select this mode and select one of those objectives. So now you can't move onto an object. Oh no, after moving. Your unit must be within range of the selected objective. Your unit must be unengaged and within range. So you can't pile into an objective and gain combat. You could consolidate into the unit on an objective, but you can't move onto an objective and then become engaged. Is that what it's trying to say? Because the objective consolidation says your unit must be within range of the selected objective, and now it's your unit must be unengaged and within range of the selected objective. But you could just be using engaging consolidation and engage another unit that's also on the objective. I suppose you have to declare which one you're doing when you do it, right? I am doing X. And then if you chose the objective one, you have to make sure you stay out. Seems like an odd cleanup, but I guess it's because I'm not used to like declaring what type of consolidation I'm doing. I'm not like going, I am doing objective consolidation. I'm just like, I'm consolidating onto the objective, you know? I'm not in that like sequencing operation mindset just yet. But it's still quite new. Right, this is the big one. Effects that revive destroy character models, e.g. Protocol of the Eternal Revenant, which is get a character back up. Maybe it's because of 6's consolidation. Yeah, maybe. Oh, yeah, because 6's consolidation lets you consolidate 6 inches, but you can only select a model that is within 3 inches for consolidation, but you would be allowed to move 6. So then you can only select a model within 3, but then if you can't select a model within 3, you choose objective consolidation, then move 6, but then you could then engage something that's not within 3. So yes, you are right, Des. It's for 6-inch consolidation, so then when you consolidate and you consolidate 6 onto an objective, you don't then engage another unit. Good shout. Good shout. This is why I do like doing it live, chat. This is why I like hanging out with you guys. That was a really good point. So yeah, so it's 6-inch consolidation that does it. Right, effects that revive destroy character models, e.g. Protocol Eternal Revenant, which is get a character back up, and then Divine Intervention, which we spoke about in my video, where the last model doesn't die in the unit, so it's technically unusable. The change to the text regarding to how to return the destroyed model to play the following. Set up the destroyed model on the battlefield, unengaged and as close as possible where it's destroyed. That model is not part of an attached unit and it has a starting strength of 1. This is absolutely huge. This is a complete change to how Necrons were fundamentally written and how they'd work. Because we spoke about all those people who kept saying I was wrong, and I wasn't wrong. I was never wrong. They copied over an old FAQ. What this means is if you a unit dies and then you revive the character with whether it's with precision or whether it's with the Protocol of the Eternal Revenant, or you're trying to use Divine Intervention because he's died, it's a separate unit of 1. So it means that like a Technomancer that dies with a unit of Wraiths, you revive the character, he then revives himself through animation. He doesn't start reviving race anymore, he just becomes a lone character. It does mean, because he's not part of an attached unit, if he's got anything that says X while leading, do X, while leading, get +1 to hit, while leading, do get X, Y, Z, that won't work anymore because it's not part of an attached unit, which means he's not leading, which means they won't get the buff that clarifies that you get abilities whilst leading if you're part of an attached unit, even if the unit's dead. Isn't it odd if he gets hit by precision? Yeah, it's a little odd if he gets hit by precision, but he essentially becomes a separate unit. Now the problem is this what it severely impacts like reanimation, for example, in terms of how the game is written, but it's also an extremely strong ability that it's going to look like, where you can kill 6 Canoptek Wraiths, you can kill a Technomancer for 1 command point, they can get the Technomancer back up at the end of the phase, and then instantly start healing those Wraiths back, So anything that's like, so it nerfs Necrons, it nerfs any character that has a leading ability because they're no longer leading. So, like I said, just for clarity, the reason that you still get the ability of whilst leading a unit while the unit's dead is because it says like only in death does duty end. This is still part of an attached unit even though the unit's gone. This will nerf that. So yeah, Morven Val with Divine Intervention will no longer be leading a unit for her rules, So anything that's like whilst leading X, you won't get that because it's essentially like you've taken it on its own. The interesting one is Celestine. Celestine under this rule is completely broken. So Celestine is a unit of 3. And has an ability, whilst this unit contains a Celestine model, in your command phase, if this unit is below starting strength, either 1 destroy Gemini superior model or up to D3 other bodyguard models are returned to this unit. So, if she has a starting strength of 1, can you revive models to the unit, even if it's just the Gemini? That is the question we have on our hands now. Because everyone else works perfectly fine, as far as I'm aware. But Saint Celestine is broken. She is just broken. They aren't attached, no, but she has a starting strength of 1. Gemini Superior and Celestine as a unit have a starting strength of 3. So can you go higher than your starting strength if you don't have a rule that says you can? That's the question we have on our hands. What is the answer? I have no fucking idea. I'm not here to give you an answer. I'm here to tell you that I think this doesn't work. I think this is a great change. This is a really good change for everything else in the game from what I know. From the knowledge that I have of the game off the top of my head as a player, this is a really clean fix to everything else. It stops Technomancer bricks. It nerfs things coming back and then starting to revive them, yeah. But like Celestine is one that does come back with Divine Intervention and is a unit of 3. The only question is, I know fuck all about the army. Is that the case with Votan that have those weird floating drone things too? I don't know if they have a revive character stratagem. So, potentially yes, but I don't know if they have access to that. The problem is his sisters do, you know? Well, Celestine's unit's a unit non-attachment, so it'd be impossible to still resurrect the cyborgs normally. Yeah, but now it has a starting strength of 1. Starting strength? Let's have a look what starting strength means, shall we? The number of models in a unit contains at the start of the first battle round is its starting strength. The starting strength of an attached unit is the number of models it contains at the start of the first battle round. Some rules refer to units below half strength or below starting strength. That changes. You know? Let's have a look at healing, shall we? Healing has been the worst rule they've ever written. It's just not worked at all, is it? Why did healing come up with anything? Profiles. I don't want profiles. Healing or regaining lost wounds. If a unit has one of my models that doesn't have its full wounds remaining, select one of those models that regains 1 lost wound. If all the models in that unit have their starting number of wounds, but one or more models in that unit are currently destroyed, revive one of those destroyed models. But if you have a starting strength of 1, can you go above that? Are the girls in the unit characters? According to 39k Pro, yes. Celestine herself resurrects with a starting strength of 1 by herself. No, because if you say that, then she could revive the entire unit because she has a starting strength of 1. Then you could infinitely heal because there's no end to the starting strength. You know, you're going above the starting strength without a rule that says you can. So she could revive unlimited Gemini because because if the starting strength isn't a limit, then you could revive unlimited. Surely. Because the reason that you can revive up to 2 Gemini, if you take Celestine on her own, is because you have a starting strength of 3 models. So you can revive back up to your starting strength. That's how I understand the rules. It's the starting strength of 1, which is the super interesting bit. Because it doesn't say they're just a model on their own, or then it's a model no longer part of an attached unit. It's the starting strength of 1. You know? But I'm trying to find the clarification, but it's difficult because this app's awful. Can you go from starting strength 1 to starting strength 2 outside of attaching to a unit? You know? The number of models a unit contains. It only contains a unit of 1. So how do you go above your unit size? That's the question. So she can revive, but can no longer get the girls back after she dies the first time. Exactly, yeah, that's what I'm saying. The starting strength piece is them trying to say you're not attached unit anymore. Yes, I agree. But they have also clarified that they've changed the starting strength of Celestine to 1. It's not and you're treated as a starting strength of 1 unless you revive like the extra things that come with you, it's now that unit has a starting strength of 1. That's the point, right? I just don't know. Ah, I found it. 1.2.3. When a rule revives, resurrects, returns, or adds models to the unit, the specified number of models are added to the unit. The unit can expand a unit beyond its starting strength. Found it. Thank you, chap. So 1.2.3 says this unit cannot expand a unit beyond its starting strength. So because Celestine has a starting strength now of 1, she can't revive Gemini. We found it. It's in units and models 1.0.2. There you go. There's the truth, chat. The truth lives. It lives. I can't show you because it's too bright. My auto brightness isn't coming on. 1.0.2.123. You can see this unit cannot expand a unit beyond its starting strength. So Celestine can't revive the Gemini because she's revived. If she gets back up on a 2+, for example. So Celestine got a huge clap. She got clapped. You know, she got absolutely clapped with this ruling. Great job, chap. Oh. I hope she doesn't actually. What? Yes, Des, obviously. Yes. Yes, of course. Of course, if she doesn't die, she can get them back. She can revive Bodyguard as well. The rule is this. So basically, Celestine received a huge nerf because she naturally gets back up on a 2+, and she's always been able to revive the Gemini. Now she can't if she does that. Because you have a starting strength of 1, because of 1.2.3, you can't. I actually don't see it's a problem then. Well, her entire ability is to get back up and then heal. So basically, when she's died, this rule is illegal. You know? And she's pretty, I mean, she's not exactly too expensive, I wouldn't say. But basically, this FAQ turns this rule off completely. Real question, if I precision out Celestine, do the Gemini stay with the attached unit? Yes. Yes, because Celestine would then revive, become a separate unit of starting strength of 1. That's how this is how this rule now works. Can you start to see how this is like starting to fall apart? You know? This doesn't seem correct for Celestine in particular. It's a nice bandage fix for now, basically. That's what I think. Ooh. No, stop. I want to move it up to the top. There you go. They looked at Sanguinora and went, you know what, we can fix this, but let's fuck up on the winged Celestial to the Imperial armies, yeah. Okay, so that's big. Okay. Now this one's also big. This is absolutely huge. And it's just, again, it's about healing. When a unit heals or regains number of wounds, it regains up to that number of lost wounds. For each wound healed or regained, consult the following. If it has one of our models that doesn't have its full wounds remaining, select one of those models. That model regains 1 lost wound. If all models that unit have their starting number of wounds, but one of our models in the unit are currently destroyed, revive one of those destroyed models, excluding character models, with 1 wound remaining. So basically what they've done is they've absolutely nerfed precision Necrons again. You know, so if you precision a Necron character out, you can't revive the reanimation protocol. You can't revive any sort of character model if the character model dies. So this is a crazy one because it's like, again, as the rules are written, this is totally fine. They decided it's actually way too strong. I understand it, you know. There was actually like quite a funny situation with Trazyn in particular. Trazyn the Infinite, truly the Infinite, because... as the rules were written before this FAQ. So currently, don't forget, this is Takoba Open. This is how 11th edition works. It's not, oh, now it does this. It's actually, at this event, it doesn't. It's probably going to change this. Is that at the start of your command, surrogate host, at the start of the command phase, if this model is on the battlefield, you can select one other friendly Necron's infantry character model on the battlefield, excluding Necron, Scorpet Lord, or Epic Heroes. And the selected model is destroyed, ignoring any rules that trigger when the model is destroyed, and this model is put in its place with all of its wounds remaining. If the selected model was leading unit, this model now attaches to that unit as its leader. What's quite interesting is the way that 11th edition is worded with healing now is that you can take Trazin, right? He removes himself from one unit, kills a character and rejoins a new unit, and then in the command phase, their unit reanimates and brings the character back. With Trazin as well. So you'd actually get multiple characters leading one unit, one of them being Trazin, because of how healing works is you destroy the character. It never says the old one is no longer leading. It just says this one is now leading. So you'd kill, let's say, an overlord and then put Trazin in his place, reanimate and bring the overlord back with Trazin in the same unit. Which is quite funny, especially if you took Trazin on his own, because then you could just essentially attach him at the start of the first command phase. And he can do this every turn, so he can just bounce around, kill a character, revive it, kill a character, revive it. Which is very funny. Very, very funny. And it can sticky as well, so you can bounce around all of these things at essentially no cost, because you kill the character, sticky the objective, and then next command phase you'd move, you'd reanimate the old character back in, and then sticky the next one, and then reanimate the old character back in. So, according to Takoba Open, you can't do that. Would Trazin also revive his original unit? So this is something that I considered, but I kind of said, like, if the selected model was a unit, this model now attaches to that unit as its leader. So because he's removed, you know, and he kind of reattaches, I kind of in my head was like, oh, well, Trazin's no longer leading the old unit. It doesn't specifically say that. So maybe, maybe I kind of went for, like, the logical conclusion of, like, Trazin's now leading this unit, so he's no longer leading the old one. It doesn't specifically say that, so probably yes. Probably yes is the answer. But in the FAQ, which is likely going to be official 11th edition, that is completely out the window. GC cults. Again, one of them that I brought up in my video as well is that cult ambush ability is obviously really strong. Let's have a look at cult ambush. A good job is a bit shit, because it would be hilarious seeing 5 to 6 of him. Yeah, but you think it's a bit shit. How many points is he? He's 65 points. I'd rather 65 points of Trazin turn into like 300 points of Trazin. Having every unit have a Trazin model and all of them being sticky objectives. That'd be pretty fucking good, actually, for 65 points to have another character which does have a melee weapon that's not awful. You know, it's D3 damage and sustained D3 at 4 attacks. I'm not exactly mad at that, to be honest. And then every time you kill Trazin, you revive him back into the unit with the reanimation. You know? Like, every time you kill Trazin, he just revives into this new unit, and then you pop him into another one, and then he revives in that one as well. So, like, all of these units. And also, just thought if the game went on long enough, he could put multiple Trazins in the same unit, because he could kill the character that you've killed and then reattach to that same unit. So you could have like 2 Trazins in one unit, and then 3, and then 4. And you could just have a unit of Trazin the infinite, and he would be truly infinite in one unit because there'd be 5 of him. And that would be pretty funny. But I think they're going to get rid of that rule. I think they're going to get rid of that rule. I think this might come through. So healing's dead for characters, basically. Right, cult ambush. Oh, you have to go to faction. Genes to the cults. Cult ambush. Trades Inception. Yeah, literally. Truly trades in the infinite. Trades in the infinitely revives. If your army is factions, genes to the culture, you start about with a number of resurgence points depending on the battle size. You get this many. Each time a unit is destroyed, if every model in that unit has this ability, you can spend the relevant number of resurgence points shown below. If you do add a new unit, place one cult ambush marker anywhere on the battlefield is more than 9 away. So what they've done, because the models, the characters don't have cult ambush. For example, Magus doesn't have the cult ambush ability, so basically it means you can't revive a Magus. You can't revive a character model. It now says when checking if every model in the destroyed unit has a cult ambush ability, exclude attached character models, which basically means that you can now. Do they have the table? I don't think they have the table here. So basically what it's saying is that because what this does is you spend an amount of points to revive a unit, sorry. If you attach a character, you couldn't, because the attached character wasn't included, because 1, it didn't have cult ambush, and 2, it didn't have a resurgence cost. But now it says when determining how many resurgence points to spend, exclude character models from the unit's starting strength, and then when adding a new unit to your army identical to the destroyed unit, exclude attached character models. So essentially, for the purposes of cult ambush, you remove the character when reviving the unit, which I think is a really clean fix. I think this is a really good one, to be honest. I think this is a really nice way to do it. It's like, well, now you're not being penalized for attaching characters to your units, because it essentially just turned that unit off in terms of cult ambush. You couldn't revive them. It turned off their faction ability. Now you can actually use it, which I think is really nice. So I would say this is a really good one. It actually gets me like really interesting, a really interesting way to, a really interesting way to basically like fix that rule. It makes me interested to play the faction again. So the way to play Dupe against your C is to leave just the characters running around so they can't regenerate. No, it's actually to leave one model in the unit alive, because it says when checking if every model in the destroyed unit has cult ambush ability, exclude attached character models. So if every model in the destroyed unit excluded attached characters, that'd be the unit without the character, right? That'd be the 5 acolytes or whatever. So it's basically they essentially become separate units for the purpose of resurgence as soon as the last model of the unit that's not a character dies. So even if the one character on the board is still alive, when you're checking if every model in the destroyed unit has cult ambush, you can do it, right? Each time a unit is destroyed, you can place that unit ability, you can spend the relevant points. So yeah, I think. Oh wait. Actually, wait. Maybe I'm wrong. 1 second. Let me reread it. No, I think you might be right. It's only if it's destroyed. When checking if every model destroyed unit has the cult ambush ability. Ah, yes. No, you are correct. Yeah, leaving the characters alive would deny them reviving. Yes, you are correct. Sorry, I misread it. So yeah, so if the character's still alive, you can't revive them, but when you go to revive them, you just take the character out of the unit. That's a clean way. I think that's a clean way to do it. The characters are quite good on their own. You know, you kind of want to kill them, especially if you're playing Purge the Foe. You know, you usually kind of want to kill the units to get points. If you leave the characters alive, they're not too bad on their own. But that would deny them cult ambushing, yes. But it's now nice that cult ambushing isn't denied because you took characters in your army, you know? So good, clean fix. Good, clean fix. We love it. Right. This one, absolutely huge. We mentioned this one on stream. We mentioned this in video, and then people have then commented on my videos saying, hey, you missed loads, and then made a video themselves going over all the things that I spoke about. Isn't that funny? Hey, you missed loads, by the way. Also, I'm just going to steal your video and remake it myself. Hilarious shit. Say that large models for strategic reserve. If it was so large, it base cannot be physically set up. Wholly within this is required in the battlefield edge. It must be set up to touch the battlefield edge. During its which such a model is set up on the battlefield, excluding aircraft, you can't shoot. So they've fixed the Tiger Shark. Because the Tiger Shark and aircraft, like the way without this little red bit, like we spoke about in my video, is that you would deep strike, be larger than 6 inches, so you'd be touching the battlefield edge, can't shoot, end opponent's turn, go back into reserve, become a 300 to 400 point brick that can't shoot. Now it's they've excluded aircraft, so aircraft can actually no longer need to fit within 6 if they can't physically. They can just ignore the detriment to it. That's not stealing, that's a yoink and twist. It's not a yoink and twist if it's the same video. Don't try and twist my words, all right? Stealing is direct copying. Yoink and twist is taking a concept and making it your own. You're not making your own if you're making my video again. That's stealing. That's theft. Just to clarify. Don't try and twist my words. Not yoink and twist is yoinking it. Stealing the idea. But like making a new idea using the old idea. Not taking the idea, the end. That's stealing. That's just yoink. That's bad. With extra models listed. No. No. Just theft. This change allows aircraft models and large base 6 inches to ride assault, dropship, Ares gunship, and tanker shot to make attacks raid and send the arrive. Hilarious. Now this is big. Thulia Gull, Belisarius Call, Lionel Johnson's, Fulgrim, Rabute Gilliam, and the Red Terror all get mobile, which basically means they can move through dense terrain. Games Workshop, best rule you've added so far. Best rule you've added so far. Let's fucking go, baby. This is wonderful. This is great. This is really good. This is really, really fucking good. This is a good change for sure. I like this. I like this a lot. Primarchs through walls again, baby. Let's remove half the terrain so it's harder for your models, easy for your models to get around, and then make Primarchs go around it. And I was like, oh, okay. So I thought. Bro, who's playing Primarchs? Now, the fun one is they gave it to Fulgrim. So Fulgrim, on that humongous base, doesn't need to take to the skies anymore when it comes to models. It comes to terrain, sorry. He only needs to consider it when he's coming to charging over models or moving over models or whatever. So, yeah, Fulgrim not Morty and Godard Magnus, but he's also on a much bigger base. The Red Terror can already go through terrain features. Oh, can he? Wait, what? Wait, excuse me? He only has Serpentine Fiend. Why does he need mobile? What does mobile give him? Infantry beast, swarm, and mobile can move through horizontally through dense features. Why does he need it? Hilarious shit. Okay, cool. Yeah, sure, why not? Main thing is Belly and Primarchs, not including the cringe Primarchs like Magnus. Good move through. Excellent, excellent. And then this one, hooray, hooray, D-Cannon, Falcon, Fire Prison, Night Spinner, Shadow Weaver, Star Weaver, Vibro Cannon, Void Weaver, Wave Serpent, United Venom, and the Doomsday Arc all get frame. All get frame. Is it a charge phase thing? Well, that just didn't come up then. Just says move through terrain. Doesn't say during the movement phase. So yeah, they all get frame. We kind of covered this already. It's basically all flying shit. Basically, I covered this because they just forgot to add it. They added it to Legends, but not the main army. Brilliant. And I think that's all. Oh, we had one more. Ares gunship. Orion gunship, Shield Captain on Dawn Eagle Jetbike, Virtus Praetos, Valkyrie, Crimson Hunter, Hemlock Ray Fighter, Razor Wing Jetfighter, Void River Bomber, Screamers, Night Scythe, Obelisk, Tesseract Vault, Storm Raven, Stormhawk, Storm Talon, Thunderhawk, Grey Knight Thunderhawk, Corvus Blaster, Blitzer Bomber, Venom Bomber, Bagger, Ultra Kill Rick, Sunshine Bomber, Razor Shark, AX10 Tiger Shark, and the Tiger Shark remove the frame keyword. So basically, the frame keyword is all the things that you measure to the model. It's basically flyers, essentially. Flyers lose, or anything that's on a flight, like a true flight stand, is no longer frame, which means you only measure to the base. It's a very interesting one. It means like where is it? The Obelisk and Tesseract Vault have like a base that they can deep strike around now, which is super interesting. For such a large model with so much firepower, being able to like just have something deep strike that's big and it essentially floats above them is very interesting. For flyers and stuff, I think it's probably fine. I think that's fine. We don't need to measure range from the hull. And probably maybe because it's like weird angles, just measure to the base. Screamers, they're on a bit awkward size base, but they're so small it's okay. Hunter Rig and Kill Rig was an interesting one to have frame, as well as the bikes. Bikes with frame was an interesting one, but now they've lost it. So it does feel like a bit of a stab in the dark here. They kind of just chucked it on everything and then removed it later. I don't know. Those things were super high. Measuring to the frame will be super strange. Not sure about the vault though. The vault is on the same basis as Stormraven, the obelisk and the Tesseract vault, just for clarity. Fucks up the Stormraven. How so? Why does it fuck up the Stormraven? You still measure to the base, so you can get out easy from the base. It stops it having like weird disembark from like the back of the tail and stuff. You just disembark from the base. I think it kind of makes sense, to be honest. It's so high up that it's not really an issue. The issue is when something's so low down but flying that you have a problem, like a wave serpent, like I mentioned. Like I showed you in my video, there's multiple ways you can stop someone charging a wave serpent without frame. You can't stop you without frame. You can't stop yourself really charging a Stormraven without bodying the base. But just naturally on its own or two, you can't really stop it happening. So I think this is good. I think this is a really good change, to be honest. But that's the last of the rules changes. I will say, chat, if you wanted to watch Miniature Masters, I don't think it's happening tonight, so we'll do it Monday. We are just doing FAQ tonight by the looks of it. But yeah, this is good. This is good. Thunderhawk gunship is going to be interesting. Well, it should be... I don't even know what base a Thunderhawk's supposed to be coming on. Does it come on a base? It's supposed to be in the air, right? But I've only ever seen it on an acrylic rod that doesn't come with it. Does it come on a base? It doesn't come with a base. Does it have a base in the app? The Thunderhawk gunship doesn't work. App size unique. Oh, is it different on the app? Oh, base size unique. What? Does this now mean the range dimension from the base will land be any part of the model, not the worst thing? Yeah, exactly that. Exactly. That's what this means. We don't have frame. You just hang it from a roof. What does unique mean? What does unique mean? Is anything the event companion? Like, what do you measure to? Bro, what do you measure to? Unique. Nice. 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 That just would be like, yeah, for those 6 people that actually own one, they'd probably put it on a flight stand to measure to that. Oh, an odd one. That should be framed, shouldn't it? So like it can hide. Well, it depends what base it's got. Alright, I don't know about Thunderhawk. Thunderhawk might be legitimately broken. I don't know what it means. I don't know what that's supposed to mean. Right. So when my unit shoots another unit, that's the end of the actual rules changes. Now we're on to the FAQ. When my unit shoots another unit, how does it work if some models in the target unit are fully visible to some models in my unit, while others are within area terrain and not fully visible? For each attacking model in your unit, determine whether the target unit has a benefit of cover as described in terrain and visibility. In this scenario, the target unit will likely have a benefit of cover against some of the attacking models, but not all. This means that in an example unit where all attacking models are using the same weapon, when you go to resolve attack step of the attack sequence, you will collect dice for attacks made by models against which the target unit has a benefit of cover separately from dice attacks made by models against which the target does not have a benefit of cover. This is different, right? I thought you'd only get the benefit of cover if the entire unit was in cover. Is this saying opposite? Is this saying some get cover and some don't? But also, because you roll it together, how do you work this out? Oh, I suppose because some models can see out of cover. Yes, based on each one of the attacking unit. Okay, that makes sense, yeah. I thought you only got cover if the entire unit was in cover, but that's not what this is saying. This is saying you only get cover if only models in cover can be seen. So this is a fundamental change, right? Because I was like, oh, you don't get cover, mate, because I can see you. Yeah, you determine from each firing model, which is different to the core rules. That's what I'm trying to say. So you go, 3 of them can see models out of cover, so they'll hit on BS normal. The rest of them can't, so they'll hit a -1. Interesting. No, it's highest way just interpreted wrong. Okay, let's have a look then. Each time a raid attack targets a unit, if every model in that unit meets one or more of the following conditions, that unit has a benefit of cover. If every model in that unit meets one or more conditions, that unit has a benefit of cover. The model is beasts and swarms and is within terrain area. That model is not fully visible to the attacking model due to one or more intervening terrain features. Each time a raid attack attacks the target unit. Yeah, so I guess the first line, if every model in that unit meets one or more of the following, you get a benefit of cover. And it says that model has the infantry beast swarm keyword and is within terrain area, or that model is not fully visible. So if a model is not fully visible because there's some of them in terrain, but none of the ones you can see aren't in terrain, they do get cover. This is red for each attacking model, not unit. Well, yeah, that's not what this says, though. It doesn't quite say it like that. Because you're looking at the target, and that model, and every model in the target unit is within terrain area or not fully visible. Interesting. Okay. Yeah, so it's essentially like it used to be. That's how they've clarified it, which I like. So if you can see a model out of cover, that you don't get cover save, but if a model can only see models that are within cover, you do get cover save. That's what it's saying. Cool. My unit has an ability which allows it to disembark from a transport after the transport performed an advance move. What mode of disembark do I use this ability? This is another one that came up for my FAQ, because currently you take damage. You'll automatically select the rapid disembark mode and follow the while moving and after moving steps of that mode accordingly. So basically you can get out as normal. That's what it's basically saying. You don't take damage for it. That's what it's trying to say. After using the ability, it increases the CP cost of a stratagem. If my opponent does not have the necessary CP available for the stratagem, what happens? So this is if you have 1 command point, you bug pick to 2 because you've got a vector equivalent. No command points are spent, and that stratagem's effects are not resolved, but that stratagem still counts as being used this phase, which I think is hilarious. So you can't use it elsewhere. I think that's a funny way to rule it. I don't know how else you'd do it, though. I think you should just spend the command point that it doesn't work. I think that'd be better. But there we go. After using an ability to increase the command point cost of a stratagem, must my opponent continue to use a selected stratagem at the increased cost if they have the necessary command points available? Yes. Oh, so you essentially snipe a command point, right? If they have enough, you snipe one off them, which is interesting. So both of those make sense. I think this one's a bit of a funky way to rule it, but it works. This one is like a good punishment because you can't go, oh, now I won't. It's like you have to if you can. So it's like a little built-in gotcha, but it works quite nicely. When does a flying unit take to the skies? Let's have a look at take to the skies. Each time a flying unit is selected to make a normal, advanced, fallback, or charge move before models that unit, before moving any models that unit, the active player can declare that it will take to the skies. So charge move. Charge roll. Unit declared charge. Unit moves as described in moving. Before moving, it's like one of your units within 12 of your unit, within the maximum distance of your unit. Until the end of this move, each of the units makes a charge move. So you roll the dice, then you move. Right? Declare charge. You double charge if it's within the battlefield. Is not, you can't charge it, target something. So yeah, so you declare a charge, roll the dice. When you've rolled the dice, you select targets, then you declare to move. When does flying unit choose to take to the skies? When the unit selects to make a null move, advance, or fallback or charge move, note that in the case of an advance or charge move, that unit must decide to take to the skies before rolling for the advance or charge move. Ooh. That is a really big change. That's like an out of timing change. Because like I've just looked, it's like you declare to take to the skies when moving. You don't declare moving before you rolled the charge roll. So if you want to take to the skies, you essentially have to declare before rolling that you're -2 to the dice. Before it would be roll, or how it's written down in the app, roll, choose target, when moving, then decide to take to the skies. Now you do that before the roll? That's huge. That's really, really big. That's a really big nerf to take to the skies. It's already pretty... I mean, it's pretty good. It's not insane, but it's pretty good. Yeah, rough. That's a big rules change. That'll need a fundamental change in the app if they keep that in. Take to the skies rolls to automatically fail on a roll of a 4 or less. Yeah. Yeah, big time. That's really surprising because I said, like, take to the skies now would be when you start moving. So you declare a charge and then you do it. I guess it fixes the timing because if you're within, like, let's say you roll 9 and you have to fly but you're within 9 of something, you could charge, use take to the skies and then fail the charge. But you wouldn't fail the charge because you've already started moving. So I guess it's trying to fix that small timing of, like, roll the charge, see you've got enough, then have to fly and see you've got too little. There's no actual way for you to declare that. But I think it should be declared after you roll, you know? When you can kind of go measure and decide before you choose a target. Whereas this is before you roll. And same for the advance roll as well. Before you roll. Absolutely crazy. Just to let you know, if you take to the skies for an advance roll, you could move less distance than moving normally and miss, you know? Because if you roll an advance and you make yourself -2, but then you're like, oh, there's a building. Example, you're 12 inches away from something, a building, but you want to advance over it and you move 12. If you take to the skies and then roll a 1 or a 2... you actually just move 12, so you don't even make the building, if that makes sense. You actually might end up moving less and not flying over the bit you wanted to. It's like the example of the picture of the rules where you can be in charge range, but the terrain can prevent the charge. Yeah, but now the terrain would prevent the charge because you just don't roll high enough and you can't charge something else, because even if you don't choose to fly because you choose a different target, you're still -2 because you have to declare it before rolling. You know, there could be 2 targets, one over terrain, one not over terrain, both the same distance. Normally, or how the rules are written now, you could chart if you rolled the distance and you need to take to the skies, you know you can't make the first unit, so you go for the second unit. Now you would fail the charge into both. Their example is moving over enemy models, is that's going to affect infantry. Yeah, true. Yeah, that's true. If you advance because you want to fly over friendly infantry or whatever, you might fail, so you can't move as far because you might just move less than you thought. How to modify to the yeah, so basically a big, really big, really like quite a wild change, like completely not in a way I would have thought at all how the rules are written down. How to modify to the charge roll, alter the maximum distance of the charge move, such as take to the skies, impact selection of charge targets. So here we go. This is an interesting one. A charge unit may only select the charge targets either within the maximum distance of their charge roll, including any modifiers. If such a modifier occurs after selecting a target and causes that target to only be within the maximum distance, the charging unit would then select a new target. Yeah, so they kind of like, they've got a fix for what this is fixing. You know what I mean? They have another fix of like choosing a target that's no longer eligible. So it feels like this is a fix to stop you, like I just said, like, oh, I've declared this unit, now I'm taking to the skies, now I fail. They've already fixed that. This is like two ways to fix the same problem, but this one's more like how I would have thought the rule went. Because if you do the modifier before charging, you know, before rolling, why do you need this? Yeah, the second FAQ doesn't need to be there. Unless it's for other things that affect the charge, like grav inhibitor drones and stuff like that for Tau. But, like, this fixes this problem. How odd. Yeah, it fixes, like, pulse grenade, but like I said, so does... It also fixes take to the sky, but then they've nerfed take to the sky at the same time. Very odd. Very odd check. That, like, again, that's not how I'd expect it to go the second way, not the first way. This one's a good change. This is a nice clarification. So a lot of people have asked me this, and I've always said I've not bothered adding it to my FAQ because it's all available in the app. Upgrades are enhancements. You can't have an upgrade and an enhancement. An attached unit can have an upgrade, and epic heroes can be in a unit with an enhancement. So yes, all of you superpower combos still kind of work. You can upgrade Blade Guard or whatever, and then attach Marnias to them, etc, etc. You can have the best time, basically. So basically, you can't give enhancements to epic heroes. You can't have an upgrade and an enhancement in the same unit because they are enhancements. They're just 4 units that can be taken multiple times. And then you can put them in epic hero stuff. So, it's fine. It's one that keeps coming up, and I'm like, I don't understand how you can get it wrong. If the app lets you, then it's allowed. Usually, until it gets changed, if the app lets you, it's allowed. My unit began the game on the battlefield and was subsequently placed in strategic reserve during the first battle round. Made that unit perform an Ingress move to return to the battlefield during the first battle round. No. This is, again, kind of like a, in my opinion, obvious one, but it's a big change from 10th, which is probably why it's here. If you start the battle on the board and go to reserve, you can't deep strike turn 1 because Ingress move says you can't deep strike turn 1. That's basically what it means. But the app doesn't let you score after the end of the battle, but they've ruled you can. Yeah, true. I had the same problem yesterday. But I was referring to list building. Don't try and gotcha me. Don't try and gotcha me. Or if we play, I'll gotcha you. I'll not tell you about those flamers that can see you on Overwatch. My unit has an ability which triggers when making a save roll for a specific model or when enrolling a specific type of save, e.g. an invulnerable save. How should I resolve these abilities? So this is an interesting one. This is again, I kind of had to pick this one up for an Archon and stuff like that. Treat these abilities only being active when only when the models that are the source of the ability are part of the current allocation group at the time the saves are rolled. In most cases, this will mean the models would need to be in the first allocation group. Ignore any references to a specific type of save for the purpose of such abilities. So this is the Shadow Field because it's obviously they've got a 2+ save that they can't re-roll. So I actually accidentally ruled the same way because I forgot that the Shadow Field, you can't re-roll invulnerable saves. But in my FAQ, I said after making re-rolls, then you'd allocate it. Essentially what happens is you roll your saves all together, do any re-rolls, and then start applying it to the unit. And then only when the Archon's the last one alive or the Archon's the next in the sequence, can you not re-roll saves, basically. So actually the Archon got a little stealth buff here, because you can roll all those saves, re-roll the only one that you rolled, kill all the Cabalites with all your 2s, and then the Archon passes all his saves, you know. It's only going to really happen once per Archon, per unit, but it's a little stealth buff that it's like, actually, technically, you can re-roll the Shadowfield save if you think about it 4 steps early, you know? Of like, I'll re-roll while it's on the Cabalites, because the Cabalites are taking their saves, and then when all the Cabalites are dead, I've got a 2-up invuln, so I automatically pass them all. But then next time the Archon gets shot, the Archon's probably with the Shadowfield, so then he won't be able to re-roll it. So you kind of get like a pseudo one Shadowfield re-roll, really. So it's a little buff, really. It's a little buff, really. It's a clean way to do it because of the fast rolling. And I don't think it's like the end of the world if the Archon survives 1 round of shooting, basically guaranteed every time. Because he does have a 2-up invuln, and it probably would happen. So, but if you roll like 6 1s, you know what I mean? There's only 5 in the unit. He's getting hit. It doesn't matter, you know what I mean? So it can still, you can just still 1-tap him easily. It's just like an interesting way to fix it, like a nice, and like again, like I kind of ruled this the same way by accident. You can still roll 5 1s as long as there's 5 Cabalites to kill with those 1s first. Yeah, exactly. So, but then after that, he's probably gonna die. Like 2-ups, you will fail him, especially with rolling loads of dice. I just think it's a clean fix. It's a clean fix. So this one, I don't know what this means. How do miracle dice work in the attack sequence? During the attack sequence, an Adeptus Sororitas player's unit can use an act of favor when making hit rolls, where they can substitute a dice from any given group of attacks before making the roll, which is the crucial bit. Wound rolls, where they... Where's my mouse gone? Oh, it's got to the thing. Before making the roll. Wound rolls, where they can substitute dice from any given group of hits before making the roll, or damage rolls, where they can substitute dice from any given group. A Death Sororitas player can use an act of favor when making save rolls, where they can substitute dice given in the group of wound attacks before making the roll. So the way I'd ruled it is I said that the Sisters player could hold a dice and then decide to use a miracle dice. Now you'd have to do like look how many saves you're making and decide to use an act of favor then instead. So it is a quite big nerf. Obviously, the way I ruled it was one way. It's very different. You can no longer hold a single dice because you don't roll attacks as one. You roll a bunch of attacks together. So you'd basically, the timing for it now would be, I've got 20 shots. I'm going to auto hit one of them. I'm going to roll 19. I've got 10 wounds. I'm going to auto wound with one of them and roll 9 of them. And then same for saves. So again, a clean way to do it. It's just a severe nerf to how it's functioned forever. So they have less miracle dice, and then you basically have to use them before you roll. That's essentially how it works. So it's a nerf, but it's the way we've been playing since 11 dropped it away salary because that's the other way it works as written. Yeah, exactly. Like my FAQ changed it, essentially made it like 10th edition. I didn't know how to fix it. They have fixed it, so we just have to go like this now. So for the purpose of BP scoring limits is the end of the battle, same thing as the end of the 5th battle round, and it's like no. So currently the way the app scores now doesn't work properly. But essentially, you score your 5 battle rounds, and then at the end of the 5 battle rounds, you have an open score field to add any more points for end of battle for holding central objectives, etc. So that's an interesting one. It just means it's not locked in. So you can actually score 15 in the final turn, 15 on your secondaries or whatever it is, and then you can score any amount for the end of game, you know. It's an interesting one for, like, actions and stuff, though, I think. Because it's like, you have cards that are, like, score at the end of the battle. Or at the end of your opponent's next turn, or at the end of the battle. So, going second, basically, from what I understand, might unlock those secondaries as well to be no longer part of the score limit. Because if it's like at the end of your opponent's turn or at the end of the battle, would that not be outside of the 5th battle round, just like scoring end of the battle would be, which means they're no longer limited. That's what I think's an interesting one with this change, right? So it gives second player a small advantage again for going second. Let's have a look, right? Burden of Trust. End of your opponent's turn. Or, oh no, end of the 5th battle round. 1 second. No, that's fine. That's fine. Let me think of another one. Cleanse, maybe? That's end of your turn. Plunder. Plunder. End of your turn. What's end of the battle? Maybe I was wrong. So this is the end of your opponent's turn or the 5th battle round. So that one doesn't. That is capped. Maybe I was wrong. End of the 5th battle round as well. Okay, yeah, maybe I was wrong about this. Because it doesn't actually end. You don't actually score at the end of the battle. You score at the end of the 5th battle round, which is not part of the same game. Yeah, so it is limited. Ignore that bit then. Yeah, so it's mostly prime. It's basically primaries that aren't limited now. End of turn becomes... Yeah, so I thought it might have been 10th edition I'm thinking of. It said end of your opponent's turn or the end of the battle, whichever comes first, but it's actually end of the 5th battle round. So no, it's not secondaries, but for primaries that say end of game, end of battle, etc., they're not limited, which is quite big. I close the fuck. I'm a shit for closing tabs when I'm done, because I have so many open all the time. Like yesterday, I was playing Punishment. No, I was playing Unstoppable Force. So this one has end of battle. You control one or more central objectives. So that one doesn't count for like this, etc. So. Can you overmind one for Taste of Skies? What do you mean? With Taste of Skies, we move 2 inches from your max distance. Does that now mean a charge roll? They cannot move over more than 10 inches. Yeah. Yeah, you can't move more than 10 inches with Taste of Skies now. Yeah, so if you roll a 12, it becomes 10. That's how Taste of Skies works. Yeah, you can't move more than 10 for a charge. Pretty brutal, to be honest, but... this one actually came up in my Discord the other day. I think it was Arco who brought it up and actually proved like quite convincingly that they were right and I was wrong. But I'll go over the FAQ and then bring up the strategy. Units have all the keywords of all their models, and attached units have all the keywords of their component units. How are destroyed models taken into account for these purposes? These units are only true as long as the possessing those keywords remain part of the unit. Destroyed models do not contribute to their keywords prior to their prior unit. So this bit wasn't actually clarified in the actual rules for attached units, but only in an example. But we had quite a lengthy discussion in the Discord. You should join the Discord. It's free, by the way. We had quite a lengthy discussion a few days ago, and I was like, I don't know. I don't think you're right. So the question was, if you have a Guardians unit with an attached character, can you revive the Guardians if there's no Guardians left? So this was the clarification. It's like one Guardian unit. If your unit's not within engagement range of one or more units removed from the battlefield, when doing so, return every destroyed Guardian. And the question was, if I have a Farseer alive and no more Guardians, do I revive all the Guardians? I was like, yeah, of course. And then if I quickly scroll through to get all the screenshots, and I was like, look, an attached unit has all of the keywords of its component units. As such, an attached unit has affected keywords. Note that models in attached unit do not get the keywords of other models, but we're not selecting models with the stratagem. We're selecting a Guardians unit, and then only reviving Guardian models. So I was like, it works. Of course it does. If there's only the Farseer left, you revive all 20 Guardians. And then Arco is like, it says have to have all their component keyword, have not shared. It says the models cannot gain keywords. And the point was, it's like, I was like, well, it's still a component of the unit because the model, the unit becomes one. And I was like, look, they have all of the keywords, they're shared. And this was like the clarify about because they started using like the abilities as an example, which I was like, well, the reason that doesn't work is because of this. They don't get the abilities of the dead models because this says they don't. Otherwise, they would get the abilities of dead models. And then I was like, look, leader and support units are only specific bodyguard units as listed in Warhammer 40,000 app. So there's a lot, like quite a lengthy conversation to where Arco pointed out this. It says an attached unit has all the keywords of its component units, which in my opinion, component units is everything that makes up that unit. But then it says, as such, an attached unit is affected by any rule that applies to the units with any of those keywords. Notes that models in the attached unit do not gain the keywords of other models in that unit. But essentially it says that all models that are attached are a single unit for all rules purposes. I think it was leaders. Wait, attached unit is a single unit for all rules purposes. But then Arco pointed out this example, which isn't mentioned here. It says an attached unit contains a leader model with the psychic keyword. While that model is part of that unit has a psychic keyword, even if the bodyguard models do not have that keyword. If that unit is attacked by a weapon with an anti-psychic 4+ ability, any unmodified roll of 4+ may get that critical wound. Even the attack itself is not allocated to the leader model. And then I was like, the thing is with it is it says like, while that model is part of that unit, which it doesn't say here, you know, it doesn't say that here. It says while that model is part of that unit, but then it says an attached unit have all the keywords of its component units, which is kind of like a very, well, not very, a slightly different way to explain what it being a part of and what component unit is. They're two different things. Where it says component unit, in my opinion, component unit would be components that make up the original unit, not make up the unit right this second. But then the example says, whilst that model is part of that unit, which then is very clear. So it's difficult because this rule, this bit, doesn't really say this bit, but this example explains it further. Where, in my opinion, example should explain the rule, not add rule. Does that make sense? You know what I mean? It's like the example explains something slightly differently because it says while it's part of that unit. If it said an attached unit has all the keywords of its components unit or whilst it's part of that unit, I would have been like, yeah, of course. Yeah, it doesn't work. They're not part of it anymore. But it doesn't say that, but then it says a different rule here. So I appreciate that might be quite wordy and quite lengthy, but Arco was definitely right. But the problem is the rule says one thing and the example explains it very differently, you know? This says one way, component units, in my opinion, component units is everything. It's like list step. This is the component. You got Farseer, 20 Guardians. The components is Farseer and 20 Guardians. So they all have the unit is a Guardian unit all the time. Whereas actually the example says if all the Guardians are dead, it's not a Guardians unit anymore. So that really long example, really long question, a really long conversation. And I'm happy to get in those sorts of rule discussions. I just need a clarification. My whole problem is that we're not getting around the single unit. And then Arco pointed out, look at the example. And I was like, huh, the example doesn't explain the rule. It actually takes the rule wider, which then they've clarified here. So destroy models do not contribute to their words, do not contribute the keywords to the prior unit. And I think this should have been in that first section. An attached unit has all the keywords of its component units. Destroyed models do not contribute those keywords to the unit. That would make sense. Argument over. But they kind of not hid it per se. It is only the next paragraph. But like I said, it's like this fundamentally adds a rule in the example, which isn't in the original rule. Does that make sense? I hope it does. So it's a great one. It's a great example. So it's a great example. Just make sure you read the examples because sometimes they actually change the rules that they're trying to make an example of. This is a fun one. Do a unit's abilities continue to function while they're embarked within a transport? Yes, within the transport restrictions specified by ability itself, embark units that are not on the battlefield, so any ability requiring visibility or measurement to another unit will fail. So this one, they literally make the example, like Khan the Betrayer is hilarious now. The reason this didn't work before, I should say, is because when you were in a transport, you were essentially in a void where you weren't on the battlefield, but you also weren't in reserve. You were nowhere. You were in a black hole, a black abyss, where you could use no abilities. And then they made it so you could use abilities whilst in reserve, but because you weren't in reserve because you're in a transport, you didn't work. But Khan has an ability called the Betrayer. At the end of your charge phase, if this model is leading a unit and that unit is not within engagement range of one of bodybuilding units, you must take a leadership test. If that test is failed, one bodyguard model unit is destroyed. So currently, if you have a unit of Khan and the berserkers in reserve, he'll start killing them because he doesn't need line of sight or measurement to do the betrayer ability. So you'll have to do battle shock tests essentially whilst in a transport because he's still on the board. He's still technically on the board. He's just in a box. So let Khan out to play. That's what I say. So definitely a really interesting one that they've clarified that this is exactly how this rule works now. That if you're in a transport, you are treated as being in the transport rather than being in a black hole somewhere else and then you arrive next to the transport. You are in a black box. It's just called a rhino now rather than the black hole of nothing. So... and then they've clarified several units in the Armageddon box currently have different data sheets. Which data sheet should I use? Use the data sheet available in the Warhammer 40k app. So they basically said new Vanguard, new Captain, new Jump Chaplain aren't legitimate. Now, I said that in my event that you could use either, just don't mix and match. I think that's probably fine still. But officially, Armageddon data sheets are like temporary, you know. Does that mean Khan can betray himself since he's always leading a unit? He's not always leading a unit. He's only leading a unit if he begins to lead a unit. Andy, thanks for the 2, mate. Really appreciate it. I put Andy Tech dead. Andy Tech dead to me, mate. Yeah, so Khan. And he only kills one bodyguard unit, which technically isn't a thing anymore. Makes sense. If there's any time Khan is going to freak out and start smacking people, it's when he's stuck in the back of a hot car on a long trip. Yeah. So don't let your Khan out. Open a window for Carl, you know? Khan. Open a window, bro. Very curious if all space pistols get updated to that Armageddon box data sheet. Probably. I don't think the instances will keep precision, though. Okay. Fight on Death, which is also an interesting one as well, because currently Fight on Death doesn't work because you don't get to pilot, because there's no piling step for a model now. It's piling phase for models. The Fight on Death requires models to wait such an ability to stay on the battlefield until their units are attacked to the end of phase. How do these models function while this is the case? You actually had a really interesting situation where if you had like multiple units charging, and then, so I think I need paint to explain this. It's a very odd situation, but let me try and explain it for you. Okay, so we have, let's say we have red is our Fight on Death unit. Okay, why is it blurry? Red is our Fight on Death unit. Okay, I should do it like this. I should do this. This is our fight. It's a unit called Berserkers. These Fight on Death, okay? Right, and then what we'll have is like after the piling step. So we're going to pile in with our green unit. And then I'm going to come here. You know? We're going to have green unit over here. And then we're going to have yellow unit over here. Okay? Like so. Someone has decided to multi-charge... like so called berserkers that all fight on death, all orks or whatever. All right, because these when they fight on death usually says something along the lines of do not remove that model on a 4-up. You leave that model there, and after the attacking unit's finished, you fight on death. Okay, but because you don't select, because of the way it basically works now, it's really odd. Because what would happen is you would like kill these units. Let's use this color. You'd kill, let's say you kill, green goes first and you kill these, you know, because these don't get removed and they don't fight until this fights now because of the way the Fight and Death's working, as from what I understand, is you've piled into these models. And then, because they're no longer there, you'd think you would pile in with yellow for an overrun charge. But you actually don't remove these models until they're fought. And they don't fight until your unit fights. So if you fight here and kill these 3, yellow goes to fight. and can't hit the unit because the models are technically dead. So they basically stop them moving through, and they stop them fighting. That is essentially, from what I understand, how Fight on Death like got kind of broke a little bit. I might be wrong on that. It's only a rough understanding. I didn't really look into it too much because I don't play Fight on Death. But essentially, it was a weird thing where you removed models, but you didn't remove them. They stayed still. But then you couldn't fight them because the models are dead. So models of weighted Fight on Death ability are still present on the battlefield for all rules purposes. This includes with limited the following regarding such models. They can be measured to and from by enemy units, and they can be turned invisible to friendly enemy models. They can still use native ability with time by stratagems. The enemies can still be engaged with them, which may restrict the opponent's playing consolidate or piling moves as part of the overrun fight. So it looks like they might have actually left that in, but they've said that they can be considered visible to friendly enemy models when relevant. So you can now fight dead models, but then when they fight on death, they're just removing you're left out in the open, essentially. So basically what they meant is when they died, you couldn't measure to them, so you couldn't select them as a target, so you would just fight and then miss because you're not in engagement range, but you can't overrun because there's models in the way. But they've said it that's like, it's basically part of the unit until they're dead, you know, until they're removed, basically. So... definitely an odd one, just the way, again, kind of like one of those things that I've brought up a few times with all these rules changes, is like having a rules change and then not considering the rules change of how it works. They've just gone, oh, we'll make it work like this now, and then just like kind of like close the book on the rule. And I appreciate this is very explaining. I know some people don't care about this sort of shit. We are 2 hours deep into it now, so unlucky. But like, it's like such an interesting one, and like just an interesting like thought process of like, let's just completely change Fight on Death and then not actually try it to see what happens, and then letting someone else come in who hasn't wrote Fight on Death to go, I've noticed this, because there's a lot of things here that I'm not a playtester, I've just noticed or read on the fucking internet, you know. It's like, how did this get through? Like, not even just playtesting, just testing, just reading. Get someone else to read these rules just once, bro, you know? Anyway, the second issue, plunder, references one unit within terrain area that is not within your territory. They're talking about the terrain area. And then the final one, it does really feels like they should have done an index reset with all these rules changes. No, I don't think... No, I think they should have just fucking thought about it and then rewrote the rules so it worked, you know? What they've done is they've rewrote the rule and then not thought about what happens after that and just left it as is. Whereas what they could have done is rewrote the rule and gone, oh yeah, shit, this actually doesn't work now. So how do we rewrite the new rule to make it fit the old rule? But they didn't. It's just dumb. It's just dumb. They've also clarified with Beacon. Beacon's a really hard secondary. So the way Beacon works is well, let me pull it up. Beacon, it says when drawn, select a friendly unit on the battlefield or back with a transport, and that's your Beacon unit. There's no reselect like Burden of Trust has when drawn or at the start of the next command phase, I think. Let me have a look at Burden. When drawn / start of your turn, you select each objective and then select a unit, whereas Beacon doesn't. So they've basically clarified that currently, as it stands, Beacon is probably the worst secondary, because when you draw it, you select a unit. If that unit dies for any reason, you can't reselect another unit. There's no timing window for a reselect to happen outside of when drawn. So they've said bin it. They've said bin it, which I thought was hilarious. So I think, like, yeah, Beacon becomes one of the hardest stratagems to actually, like, score. Secondary, sorry. I did notice they didn't clarify anything for contagion range or the Knights thingy with ping to objective points and draw a line. No, that is something that they haven't clarified whatsoever in terms of terrain area or measuring to objective markers, etc. Is they haven't touched Gateward and Lance and how they interact with objectives. They haven't touched how Contagion interacts with objectives now, with it having like 12-inch auras. Like, we brought it up on stream, you know what I mean? It's like we brought up the fact that if they spend a stratagem and they extend Contagion range, basically, I think it's 60% of the battlefield is within Contagion if you touch the center and extend it to 12 inches. Just from one objective gives out -1 to hit, -1 to save, or -1 toughness, more importantly. But overall, the Warhammer Open FAQ covers a lot of good things. It's a lot of things that we as a community spotted and we made the video about. It's a lot of things that kind of got covered in my own FAQ. I think as a first stab at an FAQ to fix 11th edition, I'm annoyed that it's taking so long. I think this should have been like the first week because a lot of these things came up very quickly. I think that should have been like, if they're going to miss all of this, it should have been within the first couple of days that this FAQ came out. But I think as overall as an FAQ, it's very interesting. I think it covers a lot of good ground. I think it fixes a lot of things that I've had a problem with. It's just some of the things I feel have kind of like been oh fuck, we don't know what to do about that, so we'll do this. So like I said, like the miracle dice, the reviving Celestine, and just the beacon stuff. I think the beacon's a bit of a niche one, but I think it's just like an odd one. I think that probably could do with an FAQ itself to be like at the start of the turn as well. But the healing one with characters and then not being able to revive Gemini, for example, because of the starting strength is a very odd one. Like I said, Take to the Skies is probably another really odd one when we've got kind of like a nerf and then a clarification of how we could do it without the nerf bang next to each other. Take to the Skies in this FAQ works completely differently to how it's wrote down in the core rules. So it feels like that's kind of like a planned nerf for Take to the Skies rather than like I said, like a fix. So like I said, like an 80% really well done. I'd say I'd like if I had to choose, it'd be like agree to strongly agree that with this FAQ, there's a few things that I think is really weird, but most of all, I think there's a few things that just overall I think it's pretty good. After the claim they allegedly forgot about Combat Patrol, honestly, none of their delayed reactions to FAQ surprised me. Yeah, literally. It's alarming how many glaring issues that there are that anyone with a passive familiarity can immediately identify. It doesn't really speak highly of internal faction representation. Yeah, I think, like, ultimately, I would hope, in an ideal world, the rules team has, like, one to two factions, maybe 3 factions each that they think about. And I think it's very clear that that isn't the case. You know, that isn't the case with like this sort of like rules design ideology that they have. That never apologize about dominating the chat. I'd rather people engage. So I just don't think that they have people that are dedicated to factions. I think they have people that play 40k, you know. I think they have people that play 40k. I think they have people that play 40k really well, but they don't have people that are like considering rules interactions. And I think that's where they've like, yeah, they've been doing this for years, but like it also doesn't mean that we shouldn't complain when it's happened, because I think 11th edition largely does a lot of good things. You know, I like save allocation. I think that works really well. I like the missions. I think the terrain setups are a bit hit and miss, but I think that like towing into terrain is pretty cringe and pivot's pretty cringe. But overall, I think like the idea of 11th edition does a lot of things well, you know. Whereas I think the overall issue. Thank you, White Wing Crowd. Appreciate you. I'll enter you into my giveaway in a second. It feels like there's a very small team that are working on it, which I understand, and that small team isn't like clarifying or considering these interactions, and that's the problem. They're going, right, how does this rule work? You know, how does saves work? How do we make that cleaner? You know, how do we stop people having to roll like, oh, well, I've got 4 dudes left, so I'm going to roll 4, then I've lost 1, now I'm going to roll 3, then I'm going to roll 3, I've lost another 1, so I'm going to roll 2. How do I make that faster? And then they change it to make it faster. Excuse me. They change it to make it faster, but then they don't consider how that changes every rule in the game, you know? And like, that's a lot of rules to consider, but that's your job. It's your job to consider those interactions when you're changing a fundamental rule. When you're adding healing as an ability, think about the main army's ability, reanimation protocols, and how that interacts with it. And clarify it day 1, or even day -1. You know, we shouldn't be clarifying how healing works over a month after the game has launched. Small British company, please understand. Yeah, that's what I mean. It's like, it just feels very odd to be like, oh, here's all of these rules changes, and then not think about, right, okay, we've added healing as an ability and clarification. Let's not consider the faction that heals every unit every turn. All right, with reviving characters, let's not consider every character that gets back up, you know? It's like that sort of thing. To me, when it first came out, well, everybody, I think to everybody, that's why everyone was clutching at this random FAQ for the Necron faction pack, is that like this is a fundamental change, and you've not wrote down what this means, so we're just gonna take it as it is, you know. Repercussions isn't a word that exists to them. Yeah, exactly. You know, just simply this. If you want to break it down, the issue that they've had, talk about repercussion, is these two sentences here. You know, let's change the name of grenades and change the grenade of tank shock, and then not clarify anywhere in the core rules that grenades is actually explosive and tank shock is actually crushing impact. You know, like, take every single interaction out there. They've changed the name of something, a core stratagem, and not gone, oh shit, fucking loads of people can use that for free or have interactions with that ability. And they've not changed it. They've just gone, yeah, whatever. The Knight Lancer, without this FAQ, can't use crushing impact because it can only use tank shot, which isn't a thing anymore. And the Biologist Putrefier can't use a grenade stratagem because it's the explosive stratagem. You know? Like, if you're going to take... There's a 6-page document here. There's a lot of words that we've gone through. If you're going to take anything away from this video, it's that they couldn't do the bare minimum of changing a core stratagem and thinking, how does that interact with the rest of the game? You know? They've changed the name from grenade to explosives, and we've not thought about how that affects any model in the game. Yeah, it's quite ignorant, yeah. And I don't know if it's malice or just plain stupidity, to be honest. I think that's the big issue. I don't know if it's malice. They've gone, oh, fuck it, who cares? Everyone will know what that means. Or they've realised. Lazy and complacency. Yeah, maybe. The problem is I think the people who wrote Waking of the Rules is like, they love it. They love Waking of the Rules. And I've got no issue with them. I'm not saying that they're... I don't know if... I don't think... And I wouldn't like to say that the rules writers are bad people or anything like that. I think they just all got fucking blinkers on and probably deadlines and probably worked too hard and not paid enough, you know. They've got a lot on their plate. But, like... This is a multi-billion pound company, and this is like a fucking multi-billion pound product, you know? And we have to write down that grenade means explosive because we didn't write it anywhere else. So technically, you can't use grenade for free. You can't use tank shock for free. Is it your rules writers to do the FAQ? Well, this is by the rules and events team and the studio. I don't think they've wrote that down, though. But I have it on good authority, i.e. my emails, that this was made in association with the rules team. So... Oh, it literally says it there. This information here is developed by the Warhammer 40k rules and events team. So they both had their hand in it, basically. Yeah, it literally says it in front of me. So anyway, there's the new Tacoma Open FAQ. If you go to my event on Sunday, can't wait to see you. Hope you've got your disposition in. But it will be in play, for better or for worse. And I'll let you know how it goes on Monday. So thanks for watching. I'm very late, so I'm going to go now. On Monday, we'll do Miniature Masters. I'm sorry I didn't do it today, but it's 10 to 10. I'm not going to start an hour show now. I'll change it to fall breakdown. So yeah, on Monday we'll do a watch along of Miniature Masters. Shout out to Emil from Squidmars, said it was all good. I did message him yesterday. He said it was cool to watch it on stream and share it with you guys. So we'll do that on Monday. All right. So that's it. Thanks for watching. Appreciate you. I'll let you know how my event goes, and I'll see you all Sunday if you come in. If not, I'll see you on Monday. Thanks for watching. Bye bye. Bye bye for now. Bye bye bye. Thanks everyone. Bye. Thank you. Bye.